Darling Stadium in Hampton, Virginia, WHES Cable Channel 5 presents Peninsula District Group AAA Football. The Hampton Crabbers hosting the Kecoughtan Warriors. Good evening, everybody. I'm Tim Cole along with Bob Hintz. We welcome you to Darling Stadium for this contest between the Hampton Crabbers, led by head coach Mike Smith, and the Kecoughtan Warriors, coached by Kurt Newsom. Bob, this game matches up every year as an early contest between these two teams, and it's always an excellent contest.
It really is, and I was talking to the coaches earlier, but they always seem to have to hit either the second or third game, and now they're playing on the first game with the tab coming into the district, so they realigned everything. But what you're going to see tonight is a Kecoughtan team that lost 19 starters off offense and defense, a lot of holes to plug. Hampton on the other side are going to start something they've never done. Freshman quarterback, Tim, and he's got 2 or 3 other freshmen that are playing that will play a lot, and some of them will start. So this is going to be an interesting contest.
The Kecoughtan Warriors have coached, those of you that can remember, they won the Peninsula District Championship last year, something that hasn't been done for a long time. And of course, this gives extra impetus to the Hampton Crabbers to come out strong tonight against the Kecoughtan Warriors. Coach Mike Smith's team, a very young team, but I think we'll see what they lack in experience, they'll make up with enthusiasm.
Right, well now, Kirk said they're not too big, and Mike said he's not too big. When I checked the front 4 on defense, Mike's team is 225 average. Kurt's is 252 average. So, I mean, we've got some pretty good-sized young men out there.
And that 25-pound difference per man, though, could make a difference.
You really could.
This, of course, is our first game of the season. We'll have 6 contests for you as a minimum. We're going to have all of the Hampton schools when they play each other, Hampton, Kecoughtan, Bethel, and Phoebus. And so we look forward to a great season, starting with a great game tonight between the Kecoughtan Warriors and the Hampton Crabbers. Right now, we're going to go back in time a little bit. Earlier this afternoon, Bob had a chance to talk to head coach Mike Smith and Kurt Newsom. We'll go back now for that interview.
Bob Hintz with Coach Newsom and Coach Smith. Kurt, you've got quite a few holes to fill.
Yeah, we lost 19 starters off last year's football team, but it's been a good situation in that the kids have worked real hard, and I guess the only negative about the season right now is we have to open with Hampton.
Well, Mike, it seems like you guys always open up early in the season, but you had a lot of holes to fill, and you've got a lot of young guys on your team this year.
They're about as young as you can get, you know, 9th graders. I think we got about 4 playing and starting, and yeah, we're young. We're young. It wouldn't be so bad being young. We weren't so small. I'm over here looking at the guy Kurt got now. He got one in that big, about 4 of ours. So.
Well, Kurt, I know it's always tough to play Hampton early, but you always play Hampton tough.
Well, you know, we play them tough, but we've been in a situation where I've been there 7 years. We've played them 9 times, and we were fortunate enough to beat them once in 9 games. But they have been some good football games, and I think, you know, Hampton's, you know, put Peninsula football on the map, and it's always been a good football game since we've been playing them.
Well, that's what a lot of people say, Mike, is the reason the football on the Peninsula is so good is because you made the other coaches coach better.
No, I don't think that. I think, you know, I tell you what, Kurt scored more points on us last year than we gave up the rest of the season, I think. But he does a good job over there. You know, they've got a good program, and I think it's going to be a good ball game. We're not very big, and they may muscle us around a little bit, so we may have to use a little trickery on him there for the night's over.
Well, listen, good luck to both of you. Okay.
What is that trickery?
Well, you saw a rather jovial pair of coaches, but I'll tell you something, that friendly smile and everything will evaporate rather quickly, because when it comes down to football, these two guys mean business.
Well, they're good friends, Tim, and they can banter like that. But you're right, when the ball is put in play, all of a sudden it becomes serious business. But, you know, I just get so excited about the football season. I just can't wait to get started. But I do want to thank Dave Chubb over the Sports Place. You notice we got new shirts. We got one that fits Tim and fits me, and we're looking good, and we're ready for this season to start.
We are ready. Hope you are too. We'll be right back with the starting lineups for tonight's contest.
Serving Hampton City Schools in the 1990s, this is WHCS.
And we welcome you back to Darling Stadium. The teams are, well, actually one of the two teams is on the field. The Hampton Crabbers going through their continuing warm-up drills as we will be watching the Hampton Crabbers young quarterback Ron Curry, number 1 on your scorecard, and number 1 hopefully in the hearts of the Hampton Crabbers. He's just a freshman, and I have not seen him play, Bob, but I understand that he is an excellent candidate for this team.
Well, I tell you, they really love him over at Hampton. He played with Boo Williams AAU this summer, so he's also a great athlete, and he plays basketball. But I tell you what's really got the Hampton coaching staff real high on this young man, Tim, is he is an A student. Not only a good athlete, but a good student. He's going to be a great role model, and they're just expecting some things out of him that you don't expect out of a freshman. But he's going to be nervous out there as a start. He did a great job as a JV quarterback last year, so we'll just wait and see what happens.
We will have the introduction of the team captains and the toss of the coin in just a moment. We can also show you, if we have the opportunity now, the starting lineups for these two squads. Of course, this is the initial game of the season for these two teams. The Peninsula District got underway Thursday night with the Bethel Bruins coming away with a hard-fought victory over the Denby Patriots 23-12 up at Todd Stadium. And our congratulations to Coach Kaz and his Bethel Bruins for the initial victory of 1994-95. There you see a lot of the fans in attendance. The temperature tonight, a very comfortable temperature. Usually this time of year we are smitten with some very hot and humid evenings, and we still may before this season's over. But for tonight, the temperature is in the 60s, and a rather stiff breeze will be going from our right to our left across the field, as you look at the field, from right to left, a pretty stiff breeze. The flag, Old Glory, is standing out pretty straight off the pole down at the far right-hand side of the stadium. There you see the Kecoughtan Warriors. And we're going to now show you the starting lineups for the different squads as you watch the visiting Kecoughtan Warriors, led by Kurt Newsom. That is he right behind one of the officials there, and we'll also name those for you. Mick McCullough is our referee for tonight's contest. Dan Klemenchik is the umpire. Gary Roby, the line judge. Ray Sparrow is the back judge, and Tom Chisholm is the linesman. Here we go. The Crabbers on offense. Lively is the center. The guards are Brewer and McClellan. Melton and Bailey are the tackles. One of the ends is number 3, Noel Rainey. Mark Baycoat will be the split end. The wide out is Ahmad Hawkins. The quarterback, Ron Curry. Derek White will get the start at fullback, and the tailback will be Steve Redfern. Rounding out the starting lineup for the homestanding Hampton Crabbers. On defense, the Crabbers, Staples and Sims will be the guards. The tackles are Monroe and Melton. Redfern doubling up will be one end. Kenny Crawford will be the other end for the Crabbers. And we're going to finish that out. Lively and White, the linebackers. Bailey and Hawkins, the corners. The safety is Baycoat. Let's go down now and listen to the pregame ceremonies with referee McCullough.
Let me introduce the crew of officials for you. Mr. Roby, Mr. Sparrow, Mr. Chisholm, and Mr. Klemenchik. Okay, I'm the referee tonight, Mick McCullough. You got a question, you bring it to me. That's what I'm here for, all right? Do we have any questions before we start? All right, we're going to have a good football game, good, fair, hard-hitting, good sportsmanship on both sides, right? Okay, we already had a coin toss, what we're going to do. Kecoughtan, if you'll get back here. No, I'm sorry, you get down here, and Hampton, you get back here. All right. Kecoughtan won the toss. Kecoughtan won the toss, and we'll receive, all right? Hampton's going to kick. We're going to go that way. Got any questions? If it's a handshake, let's go. Good luck, gentlemen. Good luck to everybody.
All right, we have had the introduction. As you heard, the Warriors won the coin toss, and they will receive. They will be facing that wind in the first quarter. And we'll show you the remaining lineups. The Kecoughtan Warriors. Here we go, Bob.
All right, on center we have Melton. The guards are Bowen and Mensner. The tackles, Eddie Lemon and Bernard Williams. And Gene Williams is the tight end. Rounding out the rest of those young men, we have the wideout is David Davenport. Another wideout is Stanley Wilson. Quarterback, Doug Burt. Chuck Payne, we remember him from last year as a football player, as a fullback, and McNeil is the tailback. Now that's your offense. They will be on offense first. Their defense will be led by Williams and Horton at tackles, Hicks and Hambrick at the ends. One of the linebackers will be Bowden, who will also double up and play both sides. Rest of those being, we have 4 linebackers. Gene Williams is one of the inside linebackers. Outside is Davenport and Jones. Cornerbacks Wilson and Quillen. And Payne is a safety, and John Quillen is dad coach for the Poseidons.
All right, here we go. We're about set to go. Lindsey Sharp to kick off, and it's a relatively short kick. Take it at the 13-yard line. Right up the middle. 2 men to beat. Jovan Quillen all the way across midfield to the 41-yard line.
Quite a hole that's broke open in that wedge going right up the middle, Tim. Excellent run back by the Warriors.
He found the hole, his team did the blocking, and he is out of bounds, in fact, at the 43-yard line of Hampton. Doug Burt will be at quarterback. He sends one wide receiver to the near side. That's Stanley Wilson, number 1, and a wide receiver to the left side. Out of the eye. Second man through. Bobs and weaves his way out across the 35 down to the 34-yard line. That is number 24, Anthony McNeil, the senior tailback. Get a chance to watch the kickoff.
Tim, that was Mark Baycoat who got a hand on him. He picked up some extra yardage on that. Picked up 9 as it was.
Thought we had a replay, but we'll go back to the live action now. 34-yard line, second down and a yard to go. Kecoughtan moving here with the opening possession. Left side handoff, enough for a first down and then some, all the way down inside the 25-yard line. That is Chuck Payne, number 6.
If we remember in the past, Chuck played a little wideout also, Tim, not only running back, but he did a lot of catching the ball, but he's doing double duty playing that fullback spot and the safety.
The Warriors with a first down at the Hampton 23. 12-minute quarters in high school football. Most of the rules otherwise are the same as college. This is McNeil, and McNeil is wrapped up for a loss back at the 25-yard line. In quickly, number 41, Joshua Lively.
And we have 2 Lively brothers on the team this year. Joshua is a senior, and he has a brother that'll be centering for the Crabbers. That's just a 9th grader, I believe. I'm trying to find his number. Yeah, Adam, who is just a 9th grader, Tim.
Loss on the play back outside the 25-yard line. Let's call it a loss of 2. It brings up second down and 12, just underway from Darling Stadium. Kecoughtan, Doug Burt looks to throw over the middle, completes the pass inside the 20, down to the 16-yard line. And that is number 88, Gene Williams, on the receiving end of that quick look-in pass. Williams is close to a first down. Depends on where they mark the ball. Now they're going to mark it back around the 16, so that'll be short of the first down by about 2, maybe 3 yards.
Well, we've seen a up the middle, a wide out, a quick pass. Kurt is keeping him off balance. He's not showing the same thing over.
Wide receivers to either side. Quarterback keeper, and Doug Burt with the first down all the way down to about the 10-yard line. So a gain on that play of almost 7 yards. And the Warriors blowing the Crabbers back off that line of scrimmage. The ball marked just outside the 10-yard line. So it would appear that the Warriors could, in fact, get a first down without scoring, but it would be difficult.
I'm impressed with this offensive line for the Kecoughtan Warriors. 215, 210, 205, 210, and 255, the front 5, Tim.
First down at the 10. And touchdown. So the Warriors take the opening kickoff and cap a drive with Chuck Payne scoring with 9:05 to go in the first. A 10-yard touchdown by Chuck Payne, making it 6-0. Trevor Gibbs, number 14, will try the extra point. He'll be kicking out of David Davenport's hold. Kick is up, it's good, right through the uprights. So the Warriors benefiting from an excellent field position, a return on the opening kickoff all the way down into Hampton territory. Took the play and just with the exception of a one play that they lost some yardage, impressed me tremendously with their ability to move the ball. Well, here's the touchdown.
Watch he just never gives up running. Chuck Payne, Tim, never stops his legs moving. I'm impressed with the way that the Warriors are controlling the line of scrimmage. And that's something that very few teams have done with Hampton. But again, in all fairness, the Hampton's got a lot of young people out there, and they're also in a rebuilding mode.
Well, it's also early, and you know, one of the things that good coaches do is they make adjustments, and you'll certainly be aware of it, subtly as it may be, but there will be adjustments made. So I'm sure that this drive was an excellent drive. Take nothing away from it, but I'm sure the Hampton Brain Trust right now are saying, okay, let's get together here. What do we got to do? We are back underway. The kickoff after the touchdown into the wind. And it is finally fielded at the 10-yard line. And still on his feet. We got some speed on both sides of the field tonight, folks. That was number 9, Ahmad Hawkins. He is a sophomore, and he almost went a long distance with that return. Looked like he was stopped initially, but he burst away from some would-be tacklers.
Well, it was kind of a mix-up who was going to catch the ball, and as a coach, you never want to let, especially kickoff, hit the ground, and it did hit the ground, but luckily it took a bounce straight up in the air. But it looked like Hawkins was stopped. That he's a hard young man to bring down, just a sophomore, as you had stated.
25-yard return on the kickoff. 8:56 left here in the first quarter. Already a lot of activity, and Ahmad Hawkins will have to come out for a play because he's lost his shoe, and they will substitute for him. Looks like coming in his place will be Kenny Crawford, number 12. So they'll crank the clock up, and away we go. Travers will start from their 35. 2 wide receivers to the near side, 1 to the far side. Out of the I formation, this is Curry on the draw play. And the draw play does not fool number 66 of Kecoughtan. That was Ronnie Bowen, and he was right there to smell out that play.
Number 66. I got Raymond. That's Horton I got. Who did you have?
Did I look at the wrong name? I'm sorry, I looked at 56.
Okay.
Ryan Horton, it's the first game of the season.
Well, 270, Tim. He hadn't missed many meals.
No, he hasn't.
Had he not got a hold of the runner, he would have picked up more than a yard. Here we see the replay of it. Almost got a hold of the face mask.
That was Christopher Ricks who got the call. 2nd down and long. And smothered again on the left side. In leading the charge was number 40, David Davenport. So that play did not work very well for the Crabbers. That was, I believe that was Baycoat on the carry, or in any event, the ball marked at the 33.
Well, that was just kind of a cross buck. It was a misdirection play, but it went right in the slant of the defensive lineman of the Warriors. Now, they play a 4-4, Tim. 4 down linemen, 4 linebackers, 2 corners, and a safety.
3rd down and about 12. Obvious passing situation. Curry feels some pressure, steps up, throws the ball. It'll be short of the first down. His receiver on the play, Mark Baycoat. He is a junior, 6'4". But depending on where they mark the ball, it looks to be about a yard and some change shy of the first down.
Yeah, the coaches, I know, a little upset that Mark didn't go down and get across the first down marker. In the past, we've seen Crabbers come up in a situation like this and do try to draw the other team offside. Let's see what Mike's got in store, because you don't want to give the ball back to the Warriors in this field position.
And now they're going to have to call a timeout because Curry could not get clear what the decision from the sidelines was going to be. So in an effort to avoid a delay of the game and set up a 3rd and 6, he called the timeout. You got something to tell us about?
I sure do, Tim. We will pick a DC Engraving Sports Place player of the game tonight from each one of these 2 teams. They will receive a plaque and a shirt. The plaque comes from DC Engraving, which is located at Tab Square on Route 17. And Dave Buckwalter is young man there, and he will also be owning Buckwalter's Engraving on Kecoughtan Road, so he'll have a place of business in Hampton and out there on Route 17. The shirts, of course, will come from the Sports Place, which is located at Hampton Woods Plaza on Big Bethel Road, and Dave Chubb is the young man there, and we again appreciate the new shirts we have. It makes us look real good. At least we've got the same shirt on or same color. We're kind of coordinated anyway.
I understand we're getting blazers too. Some windbreakers for when the weather gets cold. Dave's a heck of a guy.
Oh, he's a sweetheart.
He is. No, I really like this shirt. This is nice. I have to figure out some way to cover up the logo so I can wear it on the beach. Oh, yeah, hot sausages here at Darling Stadium. All right, they come up to the line, 4th and 1, and they are going for it. Curry keeps the ball on the option play. He's got the first down and is wrestled down at midfield, but he picks up 5 yards and a first down.
Tim, what a gutsy call. Don't you know it's going right up the middle? Yet you got that much confidence in your freshman quarterback to run that option play. And we have a young man for the Warriors who is down. Try to pick up the number.
Ron Curry, the freshman quarterback, on the option play, needed a yard, ended up getting 6 all the way out to midfield, and we do have a Warrior shaken up, and I can't make out his number.
I think it's Horton, Tim. He's one of the bigger young men, but I do not see 66 out there standing up, and that's exactly who it is. But he's up. Oh, that's good to see.
Well, I'll say. Holding his lower middle back, so he might have fallen awkwardly or something, but let's just hope it was a matter of having the wind knocked out of him. But he's able to get off the field on his own steam, so that's great news. So the Crabbers now with the ball squarely at midfield with a new set of downs. 6:45 left in the first quarter. Kecoughtan 7, Hampton nothing. Tim Cole and Bob Hintz and the Channel 5 crew from Darling Stadium. Glad to have you with us. Right side, pick up by Carlos Ford. So we read in the paper, Mike Keach was right on target here. He said that Mike Smith was going to throw in a bunch of guys running the ball, and that's been the case so far in this first quarter.
He's got a lot of running backs. Right now the offense just needs to get a little more control of that line of scrimmage, but that was one of the better pickups that they've had. That was almost a 5 yards by Carlos that time. Larry Malloy, he's back doing the field, Tim. The field looking real good shape. He says next year will even be better.
Field looks great. 2nd down and 6. Curry, Flair, Hawkins. And Hawkins dragged down inside the 35 at about the 33-yard line, but enough for a first down.
What a great play and a great block. I missed the number who made the block.
That was Ahmad Hawkins with the big gainer on the quick pass, almost a screen pass. Get a chance to see it again. You're going to watch this. It's almost a lateral because he is
there. It is right there, number 2. That's Ford making that block, Tim.
And Hawkins gains yardage down to the 32-yard line on the draw play. Big hole, and he may go all the way. Touchdown!
Carlos Ford.
So an explosive first quarter by these two teams. Carlos Ford from 32 yards out broke a tackle and went in for the score.
Well, that goes the old myth that the defense is ahead of the offense, isn't it? Both teams just move the ball down the field.
On the field to try the extra point is Lindsey Sharp. Comment in the paper said that both coaches felt the offenses were ahead of the defense, which I thought was an unusual point to make. Usually it is the reverse. Lindsey Sharp with the extra point, and we have, with 5:22 left, there you see it, 7-7, the annual battle between the Crabbers from Queen Street and the Warriors from Woodland Road.
Tim, that was an excellent call, that draw play, but he got great blocking at the line of scrimmage. If we got that on replay, they opened up a hole.
You just have the very tail end of it, and we can... Yeah, we'll just enjoy the fact that Carlos Ford was virtually untouched for the last 15 yards.
Yeah, well, he made a good move, get away from one of the linebackers or a cornerback. I couldn't see which one, but great opening. There's Vi Williams, the assistant principal over at Kecoughtan High, and her husband, who's
Kecoughtan High?
pardon?
Kecoughtan High? I don't think
I'm sorry, Bethel Hampton High School. Her husband works with the Booster Club over at Kecoughtan, but he's on a fishing trip and couldn't believe that this game was this early. I'm getting excited. I forget what teams we've got here.
All right, the crowd is enjoying this game. Good crowd on hand for the opening season game. And the Crabbers now will kick off after that touchdown. This is fielded at the 15-yard line, and this is the same young man, Quillen, but not the same success this time. Gain of 10 yards on the return, but he is snowed under at the 25.
Well, Tim, number 44, Joseph Williams, 6'2", 225 junior, broke up that center of that wedge, and there was no hole there, and that's why the Crabbers did some stop that. You said the adjustments. There was an adjustment right there on the kickoff.
So the Warriors now, with their second possession of the first half, will start from their 25-yard line. Doug Burt is at quarterback. And now we've got whistles and a flag is thrown. So we'll have to unravel this one. Been a very clean, well-played game here for the first 7 minutes.
Offensive encroachment. Robe's not nothing. Okay. Good ball.
Somebody got in that neutral zone as you heard the thing. Look at here, we got Gary Moore. You remember this guy?
Yeah, I remember this man. How you doing, Gary?
Encroachment on the offense. Repeat the down. First down.
So Mick McCullough informs us one of the offensive players went into the neutral zone and caused the encroachment call. So a 5-yard penalty, and that will set back the Warriors now to the 20-yard line. 1st and 15. Wide receivers to either side. And a couple of yards by number 24, Anthony McNeil.
Tim, that was, if you could hear the coaches down there, they were yelling trap, trap, trap. That was a trap play that the Warriors called, but they defensed it real well, the Crabbers.
Pickup of 2 yards for McNeil. Second down and about 13 for the Warriors as they spread it out. 2 wide receivers to the near side. Burt, short drop, throws, got a man open, threw it over his head. Intended receiver was David Davenport, but that ball was way too tall for him.
Well, Tim, and he was wide open had he caught the ball. There was nobody within 5 to 7 yards of him.
Just a simple case of overthrowing the receiver.
It sure was.
So it brings up a 3rd down now, and with 4:12 left in the first quarter. Warriors 3rd and about 13, an obvious pass situation. Again, Burt sends wide receivers to either side, a double on the left. Burt has time over the middle, got a man wide open. This is Chuck Payne. Payne down the sideline. He may go all the way. He will go. Chuck Payne with a second touchdown of the night.
Wide open, Tim. Somebody was not in their zone or something. I'm not sure what happened defensively, but what a great catch and run.
78-yard catch and run, as you said. Doug Burt to Chuck Payne, and Payne has really shown here in the first quarter. I love that name because he used to play a lot of defense. We used to talk about how he had
That's right.
Payne.
That's right. I remember that.
Just like that, the Warriors with a 3rd down and 13 find the man open, and Chuck Payne puts the Warriors back on top by 7. The extra point is good. So we've only played a little more than 8 minutes. Here you see it. Chuck Payne gets a great block right in here. See, the young man comes back and takes care of 2 of the pursuers, and then Payne with really good speed just rambled down the sideline with 4 Crabbers in pursuit. But not to be, as Payne outraced them into the end zone.
Well, Tim, just a note, Gary Moore stopped by, as I had said earlier. I know a lot of the people on the peninsula were concerned about Allen Iverson. He has scored high enough on his SATs as enrolled at Georgetown. So we will be able to watch some good basketball from Georgetown this year.
I think you got a scoop on somebody there, didn't you? Haven't read about that. Heard about it, haven't seen about it. You heard it here.
I heard it here. You heard it here first.
All right, the Crabbers from the 10. This is, again, Hawkins. Hawkins trying to get outside, and he does to some degree. He has run out of bounds, but not before he gets across the 30-yard line. So Hawkins is an exciting element of this Crabber team.
I tell you, both these teams are exciting tonight, and the fans are going to love this kind of contest.
You can see both teams have exceptional speed. Crabbers in the past have been a very big team in years past and have had good speed at certain skill positions, but they just look to be fast all around. And Kecoughtan is showing no small effort in that department either.
And Tim, if you look at that Kecoughtan team, that was old buddy. At this Kecoughtan team, replaced 19 starters. That's an awful lot of people to replace.
From the 32. And a gain out to close to the 35-yard line. That's Steve Redfern gets the call for Hampton. So Mike Smith has literally run just about everybody that is on the roster at a running position here early in the first half. We've 3:30 to go in the first quarter, and it's already 14-7 in favor of Kecoughtan. And now a timeout is being called. I believe it was called by the Warriors, and it was. So with 3:21 remaining, if you joined us late, you have missed a great first quarter. Just to recap very quickly, Kecoughtan took the opening kickoff after a real fine return of that kickoff by Quillen. He returned it all the way to the Hampton 43-yard line, and then the Warriors drove right into the end zone with Chuck Payne capping it with a 10-yard run for the touchdown. The extra point was good. That came at 9:05 in the first quarter. And then with 5:22 to go, Carlos Ford scampered 32 yards for a touchdown. An extra point try was good, and the Crabbers tied the score at 7-all. And then after that kickoff, with a 3rd down and 13, Chuck Payne took a perfectly thrown pass from Doug Burt and raced 78 yards down the far sideline to make it 14-7 with the good extra point. And that's where we stand right now with 3:21 remaining in the first quarter. On what I got to say, it's a perfect night for football.
It is. It's beautiful.
Low humidity, comfortable temperatures.
It's got to be in, I would assume, lower 70s, upper 60s. It's just, it's been
Really
super.
nice. And next week we'll be back here for another big contest. Hope you'll be here in person to see that one, if you didn't in fact see this one in person. This is Hawkins on the screen pass, and he is out across the 40 to about the 44-yard line. That'll be enough for a Hampton first down. And Ron Curry is right on target. He hasn't missed a pass attempt, if I'm correct on that, in the first
They are
quarter.
very high. They say he's got such a smooth delivery and is as strong as he is. For just being a freshman, they're just real high on this young man in all aspects.
Still growing, 6'3",
Yeah.
186. You know, he's just a freshman. He's got to be, what, 15, maybe 16 at the most?
Probably not 16 yet.
This is Curry, draw play, Carlos Ford. Ford knows what to do with the ball. He's out across the 45-yard line of Kecoughtan, another first down. So the Warriors keying on Curry and his obvious passing abilities, and that, of course, always helps set up the running attack on those draw plays. We had a shaken-up player for Kecoughtan. He'll stay in the game. That's Julian Hambrick, but he is suffering a bit after that hit. First down at the Kecoughtan 44. Wide receivers to the right. This is Ford again. Flag down on the play. Looks like one of those wide receivers may have left early. Pickup of about 3 by Ford, but there is a penalty flag.
Motion on Hampton.
We get it right from the man.
Mr. Makula, our referee, will talk to Kecoughtan. There was a gain on the play of about 3.
Yeah, previous spot 5. Previous spot 5 ball. By the way, Dano. Illegal motion on the offense. Repeat the down. First down.
So that cost Hampton 5 yards on the penalty and the 3 they gained. And it makes it 1st and 15 now. Hawkins goes wide to the right. To the near side comes number 8. And that is Noel Rainey. Another highly touted player for the Crabbers. Curry with plenty of time has Rainey open, and excellent coverage along the sidelines. Good man-to-man coverage by Stanley Wilson. He was there step for step.
And that ball was almost perfect. It was thrown only where the offensive receiver could have caught it.
That was a fine-looking play all the way around. It was defensed very well, and the pattern was a nice-looking pattern, but he was well covered. Like you said, that was an excellent play, period. So it stops the clock with 2:08 to go in the first quarter, and 2nd down and 15 on the incomplete pass. Curry, again, this time fakes the draw play, needs to do some evasive running, does so, and it completes the pass at the 30, inside the 30.
Tim, did you see the soft touch he had on that ball running it, and he just kind of didn't hurry?
Just a freshman. He found number 21, Christopher Ricks, a junior. This team is extremely young for Mike Smith.
1st down, Hampton.
So the Crabbers pick up more than enough for the 1st down. They'll move the chains as the ball is marked at the 27. We get so spoiled, you know. We come here to Darling Stadium. You can read the field markers perfectly. The field is blind off. Larry Malloy and his crew just do a great job. Crabbers got in motion again on the draw play. Nice move by Redfern as he is across the 20. But I believe that will call back. And then a second flag, a late flag, comes down. Might have been for a word or two that was uttered about the penalty. Here is...
End of run right there.
Watch the nice soft touch he's got on this ball. He's running, Tim, and look at that.
I've got motion and I've got holding. Holding is
just
going to be
so easy.
Well, wait a minute. Hold a second. Where's the end of run? The end of run is right there. Hold will be 10 back, 5 back from the previous.
It'll work out pretty close to the same. The hold will be a little bit better.
Hold, all right, okay. You take the holding call? All right. Well, now hold, Danny, you're going from here. Holding call's going from here. You got a 10? Multiple foul. We had illegal motion, 55. Illegal motion and illegal use of the hands on Hampton. We'll take illegal use of the hands. Illegal motion is declined. Illegal use of the hands. It's on Hampton. You're back here now. We're going to repeat the down. It's going to be 1st down. 1st down.
Well, just assume he got it right, and we're back to 1st down, Tim.
If he talks any longer, he'll be on the payroll.
You don't reckon we'll have to pay him if he talks anymore, do you?
34-yard line is where they've marked it. So the Crabbers, after a big gain on the previous play, set back this. Again, they fake the draw. Curry has time, throws, got a man open. He overthrows him at the goal line. That was, again, number 8, Bailey. Check that, Rainey, rather. And Curry just has great presence in that backfield. He doesn't seem to get rattled, and that's another comment I read in the paper. He shows much more maturity than you would expect from a freshman quarterback.
Well, and 2 times he had to elude a rusher, but did not panic. You know, if that was me, I would have run. Just, I better run. No, he's still looking. Got his head up. Very mature.
2nd down and 17 for Hampton at the 34. Fake the draw again. Curry with plenty of time. Throws long and touchdown!
How about that?
Tip from
Bailey.
number 8, Rainey,
I'm sorry.
into the hands of Bailey.
Oh, what? I wonder if they work on that. But the ball was right on the money to the intended receiver.
Now, there were rules in the past that 2 offensive players couldn't touch the ball, but those rules were changed a while back, and you saw that. That was not an intentional situation, as on to try the extra point. is Lindsey Sharp, and his kick is good. So this game is incredible at this point. 28 points scored, and we still have 1:07 to go in the first period. But what a great play that was. And again, Curry faking the draw play beautifully.
Yeah. Got
two men open, and that was probably a mistake, and we'll get a chance to see it again, to have two men that close together. Here it is again. Look at the time he's got. Crabber offensive line doing a great job.
But look at the defensive men down there. I mean, the defensive men were in position. When he faked the draw play, referee was covered when he went, in the pass area. Kecoughtan played that thing just about as well as they could.
So the tip from number 8, Rainey, to the hands of his teammate Bailey for a 34-yard touchdown pass. And the Crabbers are right back again at 14-all. Low kick, and this one will make it into the end zone. That is an automatic touchback. There is no effort that can be made to return that ball. Even though the player touched it, he does not have to recover it. It's an automatic touchback.
Right, because it's the emphasis of the ball took it in. If he caught the ball, it was running around and ran into the end zone, that's the different story. The emphasis of the ball carried it into the end zone. Well, Tim, starting off the first game of this year, this kind of excitement, and we're still in the first quarter with 28 points. Would you have believed it?
No, not really. But it's been good, and it's been enjoyable. All right, we got two receivers to the near side. Burt, who's already thrown a 78-yard touchdown pass, hands off this time to the young man who caught that pass, Chuck Payne. Payne is out to about the 23, gain of 3 yards on the play. This Chuck Payne now, he's been around for a couple of years. He's a senior. He's only 5'9", but boy, I'll tell you, we've talked about it before. What he lacks in size, he makes up for in heart and desire. This young man is the kind of player that you like to have on your team, and he also plays basketball.
Well, I tell you, 185 on a 5'9" frame, Tim, is pretty solid.
On the option, this is Doug Burt, and Burt is snowed over at the 25-yard line. A host of Hampton tacklers. Let's see if we can pick up a couple of the numbers. One of the ones that I see right off the bat is 82. That's Eric Monroe.
And number 66 was in there too, Tim. Ronell Brewer. And that young man is 230.
That will be the last play of the first quarter, as we have 1 second on the clock and now no time remains. So we have played 12 minutes of some of the best football I've seen in a long time. If you're like offense, there has not been a lot of defense exhibited to this point, but who cares?
But there has been some good defensive situations and plays, but the offense is just much better at this point. I'm just amazed at the poise of both quarterbacks. Doug Burt started a couple games last year. This is his first year starting. So, both teams, the coaches have to be playing. You want one of those. Okay.
Hey, listen,
but they got to be pleased with what's happening out there offensively anyway, Tim.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your train of thought. I was looking for something on your clipboard there, and I found it. I didn't mean to do that to you. But while we have an opportunity, we want to tell you that we at Channel 5 are looking for the opportunity for some businesses to sponsor our football, basketball, softball, and baseball, and soccer games, so that we can bring even more events to our viewers. It's a rather costly experience for us to do these games, so we'd like to offset some of those expenses by giving some business people in the Hampton area an opportunity to pick up some coverage with us. So with that in mind, we would appreciate if any of you are interested in doing so. You can contact Scotty Bowers, our director, at 850-5366. That's 850-5366. We'll give that number again. We're talking about a very small amount of dollars that are needed, and a great opportunity for you to support the coverage that we bring you of these very fine high school sports all across the board: basketball, football, soccer, softball, baseball. We'd love to give you an opportunity to have your name and your business mentioned here, and we will expect and hope to hear from you. 850-5366. Great opportunity for you. Well, we're going to see the first kick of the game other than a kickoff. This will be the first punt, and the Warriors will, with the wind behind them, get a good kick away. This is Hawkins at the 35, looking for some blocking on the far side. Gets away from one would-be tackler. Down the sideline. Boy, is he exciting.
Tim, there are a lot of exciting players on both of these teams out here. I tell you, these fans are, for an opening night. Now, I was at Todd Stadium last night, and I mean, Bethel had a good contingent. Denby, as big as that school is, you thought they'd had their side packed. It wasn't. We've got more fans here tonight for these contests. Both schools support the football programs at the Warriors and Crabbers.
The return all the way to the 40-yard line of Kecoughtan. So Hampton now, who has never led in this game, they trailed 7-0 and they tied it at 7, then trailed 14-7, and now are tied once again at 14.
Well, that was the first possession somebody didn't score on, I believe, wasn't it?
Yep, I believe you're right. And now we have a flag. It looks like perhaps the Crabbers may have taken too much time, although that would not normally come from that line judge. I believe someone may have moved.
Dead ball, offense, encroachment.
So you heard Mick McCullough tell you the offense moved prematurely, and that'll cost the Crabbers 5.
Dead ball, encroachment, offense.
You know, we like to get on Mick and everything and talk about him, but he and his crew do a great job, and we appreciate he and the other referees in the Peninsula District allowing us to put a mic on them so that we can allow our fans at home to hear exactly what's going on these calls.
Good point.
We appreciate Mick and all the referees who cooperate with us.
Even if we do get on him occasionally.
Oh, yeah. Carlos Ford gets the call. He picks up the 5 that they lost on the penalty and then a couple. Gain of about 7 on the play. The ball is marked at the 38.
Tim, he just said there's a Pizza Hut man at the scoreboard looking for somebody with some pizza.
I'll be right back. Looking something.
Here, you want some money?
Someone to buy it or someone to?
I don't know. It sounds like a good deal to me.
Curry on the flare. This is a lateral, in fact, and Hawkins is out to the 35-yard line. A pickup of about 3. But that ball is a lateral because Hawkins is behind the quarterback when he receives that pass. In fact, he's about 2 yards behind him, so the pass is actually a lateral.
Well, see, a lot of people think if you're throwing it overhanded, the lateral's got to be tossed underhanded. That's not the definition. Is where, in relation to the quarterback, is the man receiving the ball.
The reason I bring that up is if he drops that ball, it is not an incomplete pass, it is a fumble.
And one other point, Tim, is he can also become a passer.
Yes, he can. Ball is just inside the 35. On the fake, Curry gets some pressure, and he will not get away from this pressure as he is snowed under at the 43-yard line. And a good job by the Warriors to stick with it as they kept coming. And finally, number 60, is that 51, Marlon Hicks.
Well, 66 was there. There was quite a few of them. 66, that big young man, Ryan Horton, 270.
That was the previous play there you saw when Hawkins received the pass. So on the 4th down now, the Crabbers will also be kicking, and this will be their first punt. They'll be kicking into the wind. This is Redfern, a fair catch called for and fumbled, and then finally gathered at the 15-yard line. Little shaky on that one. That was Quillen, who did a great job returning the opening kickoff. He could have returned that ball. He had a good 10 yards between himself and any of the defenders when he caught the ball.
He sure did, Tim. And I talked about him earlier. The young man, he is just a 9th grader that the coaches are real high on. But his dad coached at, I believe he coached at Denby, one of the Newport News schools, prior to being one of the coached the Poseidons for a few years. They're real high on them.
They marked the ball just shy of the 15-yard line, so the Warriors now suffering some field position that they enjoyed great field position in the first quarter. Wide open over the middle, quick look in, and that'll be enough for a first down. And on the receiving end was Gene Williams.
Tim, he was wide open.
Gain is out to the 29-yard line. First down for Kecoughtan. 8:37 left in the first half. We're tied at 14. I'm Tim Cole with Bob Hintz and the Channel 5 crew. Hope you're enjoying our opening game of the season. Videotaped here. Let's see, what day of the week and month are we working with?
I think we're in September. And we may be the second or the third. I'm not sure.
Second it is. It's a Friday night, and wish you were here. If you, in fact, saw the game, we're glad to have you. We will remind you that we will be back here next Friday night when these same Warriors will be taking on the Phoebus Phantoms and our good buddy Bill D.
And everybody is picking the Phantoms to be the class of the district this year. They've probably got the best returning experience. They've got a quarterback in young Mr. Terrence Dunn, who is no stranger to that position.
This is Doug Burt out across the 34 to about the 35-yard line. He picks up about 5. That'll bring up a third down and 5 to go. It will seem a little strange with the addition of Tab to the Peninsula District. There was a picking of the games by draw, and Hampton will entertain, or be the opponent for, I should say, Bethel in our third game of the season instead of usually our last game of the season. And we got a young man for the Warriors left a little early. I don't want to identify him. Don't want to.
Dead ball.
Don't want to.
He knows who it is. We don't need to talk about him, do we?
Left a little early, misunderstood, or didn't get the snap count
Dead
correct.
ball. False start.
Tim, I watched Bethel play last night. Their young man Holloway.
They're down again.
Great job of passing. These two quarterbacks pass. I know Terrence Dunn can pass, so we're going to see a lot of balls in the air this year, especially with the Hampton schools. And Denby started off the first 3 plays. They threw the ball down the field.
So the 5-yard penalty cost Kecoughtan back to a third down and 9, and now Doug Burt will be snowed under back at about the 20-yard line. So both defenses have made the adjustments, and instead of the scoring rampage that we had in the first quarter, we've seen some defensive play here. Not that we didn't see any in the first half. Your point was well taken. But we have seen some plays now resulting in fourth downs and a little bit more of the kicking game.
Well, that was Joshua Lively, who from his linebacker position just shot the gap, and there was nowhere for Doug Burt to go, Tim. He had to basically eat the ball. He didn't even have a chance to look downfield to see if he could find somebody who was open.
I'm not sure why Hawkins had to come out, but he did come out, and in his place was Ron Curry, who has done all the quarterbacking. So he is back deep, and the kick is going to be downed by the Warriors before anyone can return the ball. That was Marcus Corbin. Here was the sack that we saw when Doug Burt was taken down for the loss. And there you see the story of the game. 6:41 remaining in the first half. 14-14, Kecoughtan and Hampton.
Well, both of these teams have made some adjustments with their defense, Tim. The defense, they've caused, that's the third punt we've had in a row. We didn't have any punts at all the first quarter. We had all those points scored, and now they're punting the game. So the defense is making some adjustments on both sides.
Curry on the option. Nice move inside, and he is still on his feet. Young man has just a little bit of quickness, and we got 2 Warriors down, slow to get up. One is slow to get up, the other one is not getting up.
That's number 8 for the Warriors, Tim. That's Ramon Jones, who is one of the linebackers.
Also shaken up on the play, but able to get off on his own, was Julian Hambrick again. He was shaken up earlier in the contest, and he is still in some pain on the other side of the line of scrimmage. But we'll have a timeout now as Kurt Newsom and the training staff will come over and attend. And hopefully it's just a matter of Ramon Jones getting the wind knocked out of him. But they will tend to him with the clock stopped at 6:07 left here in the first half.
I tell you what, we got another little break here. Let me do it one more time. Announce this. What?
Let me interrupt you if I may,
sure.
and tell everybody we'll be right back to Darling Stadium with continuing action here in the first half after this brief timeout.
Well, it's good to see young Mr. Jones go off on his own accord, Tim, and I will defer to the ball game.
All right, so the ball marked at the Kecoughtan 46. First down for the Crabbers after the fine gain by Ron Curry as he bobbed and weaved his way down the field. This is the draw play. Flag goes down. Not much of a gain on the play by Christopher Ricks, but a flag down in the backfield.
Probably holding at that position, at that point where the flag was. Oh, illegal use of the hand. That's what it looks like.
So they barely got back to the line of scrimmage. Got a face mask call against Kecoughtan as well.
Illegal use of the hands, Hampton. Face mask, defense. We'll repeat the down. We'll just repeat it.
Well, just that down didn't even happen.
So they offset each other, and we'll just repeat the first down at the 46-yard line. 5:49 remaining in the first half. 14-14, Kecoughtan and Hampton. Next week we'll be here for Kecoughtan and Phoebus, and then we are off for a week. And we'll be back here on the 23rd of September for the clash between Hampton and Bethel. Curry hands off, and the Crabbers not able to move that big defensive middle by the Warriors.
252.5 pounds a man, Tim. That's a lot of people to be moving.
That was Joseph Williams, number 44, 6'2", 225-pound junior, carried the ball for the first time, I believe. And he may have picked up a half a yard. So let's, for all intents and purposes, call it 2nd down and 9. A little less than 5 minutes to go. Clock is moving here in the first half. Looks like the Crabbers may have left a little early. A couple of flags down. Curry's got a man wide open, and he completes the pass, but this will come back.
Yeah, the one of the receivers on this right side seemed to just have a half a count too soon.
I want to remind you, those of you that enjoy the
illegal motion on
the playing of the band.
Illegal motion. Offense.
All right, we'll let Mick get his word in there. We will have the halftime ceremony. The band will be the Hampton Crabbers marching band performing, but we will show that to you at the conclusion of the game. So we invite you to stay tuned for that. Right. At the conclusion of the game, the halftime activities, the Hampton High School marching band.
On the offense, we'll repeat the down. Repeat the down, 2nd down.
Well, he didn't take that a full 5 yards, Tim. Look at where the first down started. Well, I guess no, it was from the previous spot. That's right. That was a well-conceived play last time. The wide open receiver, but if you move too soon, it doesn't do you any good.
49-yard line, a little flare pass over the middle. Doesn't go for much because it was well read by the defender on the play, Gene Williams, who was seeing action on both sides of the offense and defensive line. He spelled that out real good, and Najah Bailey was unable to pick up much more than about 5 yards.
It really did. Gene, as you said, also plays the tight end, plays that linebacker and the tight end. He's a 190 senior. I got to talk with him the other day over there, and very likable young man, very focused on what he's got to do to help this Kecoughtan Warrior team this year.
3rd down and about 9. Curry with time throws, and it is almost picked off. In and out of the hands of Quillen as the ball was really thrown right to him, and I think that may have surprised him. It was thrown right into his hands. So one of the few times that Curry has been well off the mark with his pass, but certainly for the freshman, he's had an excellent first half. I don't know you can say enough about what he's done here in the first half.
Hey, I'm sure he's a little down on himself, but
certainly no reason to be.
That's right. Oh,
Stephen
beautiful
Redfern,
punt.
nice high kick and a fair catch call for and taken at the 15-yard line by Quillen. And that ball was into the wind, so it kind of hung up there nicely for the Crabbers, and no run back for Kecoughtan. They'll start from just across their 15-yard line. And again, the field position for the Warriors here in the second quarter has been much less desirable than they had in the first quarter. A little less than 4 minutes to go here in the first half, which has settled into a defensive battle after a first quarter that showed 28 points on the board. Here's Chuck Payne, and Payne is out across the 30, the 25 to about the 28.
Tim,
and enough for a first down.
That's just a quick opener, and the rest of the backfield is flowing to the right, and he just pops it real quick to the left side of the center, and did a great job of blocking there by that offensive line because he popped through.
First and 10, the ball at the 29-yard line. And Payne, with a good block downfield, turns the corner and is driven out of bounds, but not before another first down at the 49-yard line.
Well, there was a little trap that time, a nice pull by the guard.
And he may have left just a half a second early. This is the
that's the play before.
The previous play. But we could see it real clearly. It looked like the guard who pulled to the left may have beat the count by a half a step, but it didn't draw the flag, so might have been one he got away with there. But nonetheless, a fine-looking play by the Warriors and a first down almost at midfield. Burt pitches. This is Quillen. And Quillen reverses his field, coming back this way, has got some blocking, got Burt, the quarterback, out in front of him, and he's finally taken down at the 30-yard line. So a good-looking play, almost a 20-yard gain, but you wouldn't know it was a good-looking play from the coach up here. He was having a small conniption fit.
I thought he was having a heart attack. Right?
I'm telling
he was
you,
going nuts.
He liked what he saw at first, and then he got concerned when Quillen decided to be a little inventive.
That plane is not designed to go east and west. He wants him to go north and south.
Nonetheless, a 20-yard gain, almost a 20-yard gain at the 30-yard line, another first down. Now the Warriors, with some confusion, will take a timeout with 2:50 to go in the first half. Bob, why don't you tell us again about our player of the game?
Right, we will pick a DC Engraving Sports Place player of the game from both the Hampton Crabbers and the Kecoughtan Warriors tonight. They will receive a plaque and a shirt. The DC Engraving will give the plaque. They are located at Tab Square on Route 17, and Dave Buckwalter will also be owning Buckwalter's Engraving on Kecoughtan Road. The Sports Place is where we get the shirt from, and that's Dave Chubb over there, and they're located at Hampton Woods Plaza on Big Bethel Road. And again, we really appreciate the efforts of these two young men to help us recognize one of the players of the game from each one of these teams, and it's very unscientific, Tim.
2:50 remaining here in the first half. You joined us late. The Warriors opened the scoring with a 10-yard run by Chuck Payne, making it 7-0. Then Carlos Ford ran in from 32 yards out to tie it at 7. Then Payne on the receiving end of a Doug Burt pass, 78 yards for the touchdown, put Kecoughtan on top by 7. And then Naja Bailey on a tip from his teammate made a grab in the end zone, 34 yards from Ron Curry to tie it at 14, and that's the way it ended at the first quarter, and it's been scoreless here in the second.
Chuck Payne is running real strong, Tim. I'm really impressed with him tonight.
Now that wasn't Payne on that particular carry, though. That was, in fact, number 24 who got the call. That was Anthony McNeil, who has looked good also here in the first half.
Well, Payne just checked in. I guess the coach down here heard me, but I'm impressed with him.
Ball is just across the 24-yard line. It's second down and about, well, let's call it 4. This is Chuck Payne, and he will get close to the first down. I don't believe he got to the marker. Be a little bit shy and bring up a third down and about a yard or less.
Well, he's marking it right at the 21-yard line. And you got to go across the 21. So you're right, about just less than a yard.
Big third down play here with less than 2 minutes to go in the first half. Pitch goes to Quillen. Quillen trying to turn the corner, gets good pursuit from the Crabbers, and he does get around that corner and gets that precious first down.
Well, it looked like the Crabbers had that well played. They did, as far as he didn't pick up much yardage, but all he needed was a yard to get past the down marker.
So pickup of almost 2 yards. He needed about a yard, and he got an extra yard out of it. The 19-yard line is where they've marked it.
Well, Quillen is also a 9th grader.
Minute 38 left in the first half. Over the middle, and another one of those tip drills, almost received, but that ball was rifled by Doug Bird. He had some mustard on that one.
Well, according to the paper, the article in the paper today about Doug Burke, that he went up to Virginia Tech and got a lot of help up there on his throwing technique, and thinks that he got a lot of strength from the way he's throwing it now and all. So he did zip that ball in there, but the young man was open, the receiver.
That article probably written by Mike Keach.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, our good friend over the Daily Press, all the sports writers over there who provide statistics for us all season long. This is Burt all the way down to the 4-yard line. What a tremendous run by Doug Burt. He looked incredibly good on that. He is 6'5", 205. This is no little guy here, and he showed great agility that time.
He really did, Tim. He's an excellent basketball player, too. If you remember him from last year, he played, was not a starter, but played quite a bit for the Revis Conrad in his basketball team.
First and goal at the 4-yard line. This is McNeil, and he is in. Touchdown! So McNeil carries it on the right side and scores the go-ahead touchdown here with 1:01 remaining in the first half. On to try the extra point will be Trevor Gibbs, number 14. He is 2 for 2, make that 3 for 3 as the Warriors regain the lead with a good-looking drive capped by the 4-yard run by McNeil. Anthony McNeil, a senior.
He got great blocking on that right side of that offensive line. They just basically pushed the Crabber line backwards, and once you get that surge moving, and it's hard to stop a runner who can smell that end zone.
Well, and give him the credit too, because
yes,
it looked like he might be stopped, but he just would not give up and kept those legs churning and got into the end zone. So McNeil with his first touchdown of the season, and now the Warriors regain the lead 21-14 with 1:01 to go.
Well, that wind has really picked up and has got the flag straight out there, kicking into the wind. So that means the Crabbers with a little over a minute, if they want to go downfield, they'll be throwing the ball into the wind.
With the wind behind the kicker, the ball is mishandled, then finally picked up by Hawkins. Hawkins out to the 15-yard line.
We got a flag that came in late. I don't know if it was a late hit. I thought at first it looked like they might have grabbed a face mask, but the flag came in late.
They're going to call it against the Crabbers. That's an interesting call.
Yes.
I think he must have pointed
Yeah, I think he pointed the wrong way. Yeah, he did.
Dead.
So the referee did in fact point in the wrong direction. It is a first down at the 30-yard line with 48 seconds, and the clock is moving. Crabbers have 2 timeouts remaining. Again, that lateral to Hawkins, and Hawkins bursts through some would-be tacklers and goes out of bounds at the 46-yard line. Enough for a first down.
Well, that play has been real successful for Mike Smith, and he'll use it until you stop it. And you get the ball to the young Mr. Hawkins is no slouch when it comes to the speed department. The way these young men are running, I would think that the Crabbers may have a pretty good track team over there.
Well, and it's also got to be a little scary if you're scouting this Hampton team, because Hawkins is a sophomore, Curry is a freshman. These guys have got at least 2 more years together, and 3 more years for Curry. So, you know, this is just bodes very well for the future for this Hampton team. Curry, quick look in, got it completed right on the numbers, all the way inside the 35-yard line. That was number 8, Rainey. And Rainey picks up another first down. Now the Crabbers will call a timeout. You know, we're talking about into the wind here. With in less than 20 seconds, the Crabbers have moved all the way down to the Kecoughtan 33.
Well, that's 10, 20, 30, about 37 yards they've gone down there, Tim. Looked like the Warriors were playing just a little bit looser on defense than what they should have been at that point. But again, you got to go with the percentages. You're throwing into the wind, but that young man's got a good arm. That young man, of course, is young Mr. Curry.
You know, the wind is really not as big a factor when it's not a gusting wind. This looks to be more or less a steady breeze.
Yes.
And certainly I'm not trying to make any excuses for anyone, but certainly in this case, Curry is throwing it right on the target. I mean, he has got great accuracy, and he has shown that here. I don't have the individual first half statistics, but I would suggest without any question that he's in the 100-yard range here in the first half.
Yeah, I would sure think so.
In any event, the timeout comes with a half a minute remaining. The Crabbers down by 7. They have never led in the game, and they are looking for the tie here before halftime. And the first half has been a rather lengthy first half with a lot of scoring and a lot of good offense by both squads. Hawkins comes to the near side. That's where he's been most of the evening, taking those little screen passes. This is Curry looking, throwing, got a man open, and it is incomplete. Looked like one of the Warriors might have gotten a hand on it. Intended for Carlos Ford at number 2.
Well, Tim, I don't know if the Warrior got a hand on it or not, but when Ford made his break, he broke inside, and the ball was just a little outside. There's a good shot of Al Inslee, the young man that kind of keeps this thing going, all the contests here at the stadium. He looks like he goes to your barber.
What is his position? What is he with the?
I don't know. He just does. He kind of sets up the ticket takers, and he's director of physical education and stuff like that. So
Curry does a good job of getting away from one wood tackler, darts away from another, and then is body slammed at about the 25-yard line with 12 seconds remaining.
It looked like we either got a timeout or first down. I'm not sure. They're calling a timeout.
It will be close to a first down. I believe they're going to be a little short of the first, but it's depending exactly where they mark the ball. They've marked the ball at the 24, and it appears they need to get just to the 23. So they'll be third down and a yard to go, and that is the last timeout for the Crabbers.
Well, that was Ronnie Bowen, number 56, that said, welcome to Peninsula varsity football to Mr. Curry.
And again, I want to take this opportunity while we have a timeout to address this to you business people out there in the city of Hampton and or Newport News. Channel 5 is looking for some businesses to sponsor our coverage of football, basketball, softball, baseball, and soccer games. Now, there's no outlay to the prospective sponsors here as far as production of commercials or anything like that. None of that is involved. This is a very reasonably priced opportunity for you to get your company name out there in front of all of our viewers and at the same time support the coverage that you see here on Channel 5.
Well, Tim, excuse me, but they can either do a game or a quarter or even our pregame show.
Exactly. So if you'd like more information, you can call Scotty Bowers at 850-5366. We'd like to hear from you. Curry hit just as he throws the ball, and it falls incomplete. So that ball really never had a chance to get there, as Curry was simply dislodged from the ball as he let it go.
Well, with 7 seconds left, they're not worried about the first down at this point. It's fourth down, less than about a yard, maybe a little over a yard.
So the play will come in from the sidelines. This will be brought in from Kenny Crawford, number 12, as the Hampton coaches set up this fourth down and a yard to go. 7 seconds remaining. They have no remaining timeouts, do the Crabbers. They have wide receivers doubled to the right side. Curry over center. Has plenty of time. Line gives him a lot of time. He can't find anybody open, though. He's got to get at least a first down. He rifles the ball incomplete at the 5-yard line.
Well, and it was not intended for Ford. There was a man behind him, but Walter had no idea.
Now, you just don't know that. That's Carlos. And that is the final play of the first half. As the time runs out, Carlos Ford had it at the 5, but couldn't hold on to it. And it's unlikely it would have made any difference because the time would have run out in any event. So we have played 24 exciting minutes of football here from Darling Stadium. Our score at halftime, the Kecoughtan Warriors 21, the Hampton Crabbers 14. We'll return to Darling Stadium with the third quarter of action right after this brief timeout.
Your viewing alternative for the 1990s, WHCS, Cable Channel 5.
Both teams are back on the field. We're just about set to get the second half underway. And again, we remind you, those of you who enjoy the band performance at halftime, we will have the Hampton High School Marching Band and their halftime performance at the conclusion of our game tonight. So stay tuned for that at the conclusion of this game. We'll have Hampton High School Marching Band performing the halftime activities. Well, in the first half, Bob, we had two very different first halves. The first quarters. The first quarter was a high-scoring affair, 14 points by both teams, total of 28. And then in the second quarter, just the one score, which came with 1:01 to go in the first half, which gave Kecoughtan the lead.
And Hampton almost going there at the end of the half, Tim. First quarter, no punts. Second quarter, 4 punts.
But I have to tell you, I have been truly impressed by both teams. I've seen a Kecoughtan team that can move the ball. I've seen a Kecoughtan team that plays some good D. I've seen a Hampton team that has more speed than I've seen in a number of years. And I've seen a young quarterback and some wide outs and general receivers for Hampton that make this team a threat every time they've got the ball. So it should be a great season for both of these teams and the Peninsula District.
Well, it just makes the Peninsula District even that much stronger because Kecoughtan was not even mentioned in the top 4. And you got to look at Kecoughtan right now and say, yeah, you better watch out for Kecoughtan. I don't care who's playing them.
Yeah, Doug Burt's done a real fine job at quarterback in the first half. Chuck Payne, an excellent job running the ball. And for the Crabbers, Ron Curry has looked just superb. And his wide receivers and the running attack has been very balanced. So look for a great second half, and we're about to get it underway. Hampton will receive to start the second half. Kicking off will be Trevor Gibbs. He is at the ball, and we are underway. With the wind, the ball is fielded at the 3-yard line. This is Hawkins, Ahmad Hawkins, and he is in trouble but gets away from a couple of would-be tacklers, and then he steps out of bounds at about the 25 or 26-yard line. We'll see exactly where they marked the ball. Nick McCullough, the referee, was there to spot the step out of bounds at the 25, so that's where Hampton will start.
Hawkins tried to make his cut, just didn't have enough room, and when he made his cut, of course, he stepped out of bounds.
Young man is exciting, I tell you. You know, he just makes you pay attention every time he touches the ball, whether he's receiving a pass or taking a kick.
And he's not the only one who makes you pay attention out here tonight.
Crabbers come up with double wide receivers to the left. Handoff goes instead to number 2. That's Carlos Ford, and Ford is snowed under by a good defensive effort by the Warriors.
Well, he did get back to the line of scrimmage, Tim, and that was just it.
Ramon Jones, who was shaken up in the first half, made the stop along with another of his teammates, and we're real glad to see Ramon is back in full action after being shaken up. And then you see Carlos Ford coming over. He too was shaken up on that particular play, and looks like Diane Limerick is down there attending to his needs. He looks like he might have
well, he took a couple of strong hits and from a lot of weight.
No gain on the play, 2nd and 10. This is Curry on the option. It's a naked reverse type situation, and Curry gets away from one tackler, and I believe they grabbed the face mask, and we saw a penalty flag go down.
Yeah.
So Curry, very elusive, may have caused a Warrior to grab for whatever he could, and that is the signal.
Exactly. Good call, Eagle Eye.
It wasn't too hard to call that.
Right in front of us, but that's a good shot.
So that will cost the Warriors as they'll tack that on after the play. A nice looking play by Curry to begin with, and then the face mask will cost Kecoughtan an extra 15. So that'll mark the ball all the way down to the 45-yard line of Kecoughtan. So just like
Face
that,
mask
the Crabbers
on the defense. First down.
Oh, who's he sounding like? Who's that young man from Texas who's the NFL fringes always says first down.
So the Crabbers now with first down at the Kecoughtan 35. Check that, 45 on the draw play. That's a good looking play for the Crabbers.
Wow, nice run.
Christopher Ricks, the junior.
Whoa.
All the way down inside the 25-yard line to about the 23. No penalty flags down, so that play will stand, and you'll advance the chains again.
How many running backs has Hampton used tonight, Tim? At least 5, haven't they, or more?
Well, let's see. Let's go down the list. They've got Carlos Ford, who has run the ball. We've got Kenny Crawford, got it one time. Christopher Ricks, who just carried. And we'll get back to that in just a second. This is Ford. He's done a good job of carrying the ball, too, and this time he is slowed down from behind on a real fine play by number 56, whose name we've called a lot, Ronnie Bowen. Josh Lively has carried the ball. Steve Redford has carried the ball. So there's about a half a dozen Crabbers who have run the ball at some point in time during this game.
And they all look equally as good. I mean, there's not one that stands out any better than the other one. So what a nice problem to have. Who do I play, right?
Well, it's always nice to be able to bring in fresh legs. Gain of about 6 on that last play. 2nd down, and let's call it 4. Ball is inside the 17-yard line. On the draw play, this is Carlos Ford. He's got a huge hole, and he will get close to the goal line, tripped up at the 1.
Nice tackle by your young man you called Payne.
My man inflicting the pain. Chuck there made the stop just in time to stop the run for the end zone with 1 yard shy. Carlos Ford with a good-looking play. That was a 20-yard gain, and it sets up a 1st and goal for the Crabbers.
Well, that was the second draw that they have run in this series, and both of them picked up great yardage.
And not much happening there. Again, a new number in the backfield. That's Derek White, 5'9", 180-pound sophomore, and he was stacked up, and our man again.
Guess who?
Chuck Payne, inflicting pain. No gain on the play, 2nd and goal.
You could hear that crash of pads up here.
He really could. That was a fine defensive effort. In the backfield, 44. That is Joseph Williams, and that's Carlos Ford with the touchdown.
Well, it's the man that should have got it, I feel. You know, he's the one that got him down there that time.
So with 8:46 remaining in the third period, Ford scores his second touchdown, this one from 1 yard out.
You know what's going to be hard to do tonight?
Pick the player of the game. I know.
You got that right.
I was already thinking about that. It's never easy, but it won't be any less easy tonight. Extra point try is good. So Lindsey Sharp is 3 for 3. You might say he is sharp tonight. And we are knotted up again at 21 all. So the Warriors have led. The Crabbers come back. The Warriors regain the lead. The Crabbers come back. The Warriors took the lead again. Here's your touchdown. Good lead block there and a great big hole for Carlos Ford. I'm not sure, but I think I could have run through that hole.
Well, it'd have to be a real big hole, though, wouldn't it? For either one of us.
In either case.
And they'd have to hold the blocks a little longer for me.
Oh, yeah, about an hour for me. So the Crabbers will kick off into that wind again. A good 15-20 mile an hour wind in their face. But the Crabbers, with the benefit of a face mask call, score the touchdown on the first possession of the second half. And they have managed to tie the Warriors again, this time at 21. At the 15-yard line. All the way out to the 35. That is number 1, Stanley Wilson, who took the kickoff in full steam.
Tim, and he's just a sophomore. We got a lot of we got some young men out here that are seniors, but we've got a lot of freshmen and sophomores that are playing very well out here tonight.
The Warriors will start from their 35. Burt fakes, now decides to run with it. He did a good job of that in the first half, and he picks up almost 6 or 7 yards this time.
Well, he wanted to throw it, but the young man was not open, so he just tucked it in and picked up. It looked like he must have picked up 5 yards, close to 5.
And they marked him out of bounds after a 5-yard gain. So that makes it 2nd and 5. If you just joined us, I'm Tim Cole along with Bob Hintz. We're bringing you the first game of the season for both of these teams. The Hampton Crabbers hosting the Kecoughtan Warriors. We're coming to you from Darling Stadium. This game videotaped on the 2nd of September 1994. This is Kecoughtan with the ball, and this is a good-looking play. Another first down across midfield. That is number 2, Jovan Quillen. Or was that Chuck Payne?
No, that was number 2. Yeah. You're right.
That was Quillen. First down at the Hampton 46. First of a scheduled 6-game coverage. Our next game will be next Friday, and we hope to see you out here in person on the 9th when these same Kecoughtan Warriors will play the Phoebus Phantoms.
Tim, it looks like the way things are going that we may have whoever has the ball last situation who will win this contest. Tied to 21 apiece.
Ball is at the Hampton 42-yard line.
You don't suppose that the offense just got a little tired in that second quarter because they had so much movement in that first quarter, do you?
And Doug Burt will not be able to execute the option play. Good defense that time by Hampton. And in on the stop was
number 11.
Was it number 11? Yes. I thought it was 11 or 41. I wasn't sure.
I believe it was 11.
That would be Andre Jones. Kecoughtan is going to call a timeout with 6:52 remaining here in the third.
Well, they need to call a timeout to make sure that they're on the same page. That was a great defensive play, but young Mr. Burt almost got away from him. I mean, he is strong at 6'5". Not only strong, but big.
Again, we want to give you that phone number. We'd like to have an opportunity for business people in Hampton and Newport News to sponsor some of our coverage, and if we can get some sponsorship, we can also consider expanding our coverage. So there's at least 2 tape delayed broadcasts of every event that we do here on Channel 5, and of course each time that we show it, your name and the name of your company would be mentioned. Give us a call during regular business hours at 850-5366. That's 850-5366. And ask for Scotty Bowers, and we'll be glad to give you the information. We're not talking about a huge expense here. We're not even discussing any kind of production costs. So even you very small businesses, an excellent opportunity to get your message out. Doug Burt in some trouble, scrambles, and he will be stopped at about the 40-yard line, so he will not get a first down. It'll bring up a 4th down now.
Well, I tell you, the Warriors did a great job of picking up the blitz that time from the Crabbers, and young Mr. Burt didn't have a chance to look downfield, but exciting, isn't it?
It'll bring up a 4th down with the wind behind him. The Warriors will apparently punt, and they do. The ball is going to go into the end zone, and that'll bring it out with the automatic touchback to the 20-yard line.
That was a real smart play. You just get away from that ball, let it go into the end zone.
Let's give me credit. I'm number 1. Let's go Crabbers, number 1. Number 1, Hampton High. All right, Big Brass, go Crabbers.
Tough work our good man ESPN Ron Baton has there.
I see him down there.
Going to be down there amongst all those pretty cheerleaders getting the footage. Someone's got to do it, right, Ron? All right, the Crabbers now will start from their 20-yard line. We're tied up at 21. 6:12 to go here in the third quarter. Only score of the second half is the Crabbers. This is Curry, and he is again stopped by Bowen. And Bowen's name is continuing to prop up, and certainly he becomes a candidate for our player of the game, one of many at this point, but he's played a real fine game on defense.
He really has, Tim. He has come up with some defensive stops that have really stymied the Crabbers. Not to take anything away from the offense, but this defense has not been the shining light tonight, but we've had some people that will stand out.
Loss of about 5 on the play. On the play action, Curry took a vicious hit, and it was almost picked off. Intended on the near sideline for Naja Bailey. But an excellent defensive play by Ramon Jones to knock it away, and Curry took a real hit as he released that ball.
Tim, he put the ball in a nice position, but he had too nice a touch on it to allow Bailey, who was that, Jones to get over there and break it up, because the receiver was open, but he just didn't get enough zip on the ball.
It's third down now at the 15. Third down and 15 to go for Hampton. Clock stops with 5:23 left in the third. Over the middle, completes the pass for a first down at the 35-yard line.
That's just a slant pattern, just leading. Who's that, number 8?
That's Noel Rainey. And I mean, that was just as perfectly thrown a pass as you will see.
He couldn't have let him any better, because he caught the ball and got the ball, actually picked up about 20 yards, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He got 5 more than he needed out of the 35, and it keeps the drive alive for Hampton. This is Curry on the rollout, and he sees the openings extremely well. He picks up about 5 yards out of something that looked like it may not get anything.
I tell you, we've seen some real exciting runners tonight, and a couple of freshmen that are just really outstanding, and young Quillen and young Mr. Curry, both 9th graders. The fans at Crabber and the Warriors have some great football to see in the next 4 years from these 2 young men.
Pickup of 5, 2nd down and 5 with 4:25 left to go in the 3rd. Hampton 21, Kecoughtan 21. That same play again, isolating Hawkins on the near sideline, and he steps out of bounds again.
But he picked up first down.
Got a first down across the 45 to about the 47.
Tim, you got to be really impressed with this young Hawkins when he gets the ball. There was no room on this side when he got the ball, and it looked like there were 22 players over here, and he just
picked up 7 yards.
Fast, quick feet.
7-yard gain on the play, make it 8 now. They give him a nice spot out to the 48. Another first down for Hampton. Hawkins to the near side. Rainey rather far to the left. Pitch. And a fine looking stop, and a late flag goes down. The ball carrier for Hampton.
He got holding.
Hampton was Christopher Ricks, but illegal use of the hands against the Crabbers. So that'll back them up after a negligible gain on that play. Assuming that the Warriors take the penalty, and with the big yardage, they probably will. They did stop Hampton for no gain. You never give up those big ones, though.
Holding the offense. We'll repeat down. First down.
First down.
So the 10-yard penalty cost Hampton, and they'll be looking at 1st and 20 now. Split receivers left and right. Curry, quick look in, got his man, and completes the pass at the 49-yard line of Kecoughtan. That was that quick look in again to Najah Bailey. You know, you run out of some superlatives here, but this young man is just, he's everything that we were led to believe. I'll tell you that.
Well, and as good as he is, if you don't have people to catch the ball, I don't care how well you throw the ball, but he's got some great receivers out there. I'm just impressed with not only his execution and him getting the ball, but the receivers hanging on to the ball.
Why stop if it works? Don't give it up, right?
You got that right.
That was a play of about 8 yards to Hawkins, the sophomore. Look down this roster for the Crabbers. Hawkins is a sophomore. Curry is the freshman, as we mentioned.
All right, Eagle Eye, you can't even see the ball. Is it a first down or not?
Well, I have a slight disadvantage there when I can't see the ball.
Yeah, we're going to have our first measurement that I can remember. I don't know if we've had one earlier or not, but
no, I don't. I believe this is a first for the season.
Let's look at it.
And with a minor handicap of having no vision at all, I will say that it is a first down, and Nick Mercula makes the call. So the Crabbers with a fresh set of downs. Ball will be marked at the Kecoughtan 42-yard line. Again, we want to take a little air out of the national scoop here, but we were informed a little earlier tonight that Allen Iverson, a much celebrated Bethel High School athlete, has passed his SATs and will be enrolled this fall in Georgetown University, and that was certainly going to make it a much more interesting college basketball season for a lot of us.
And I know Georgetown plays like in an opening kickoff classic or tip-off classic or whatever. They play Arkansas, so he'll be tested right off the bat. But well, you know, congratulations to Allen, and he's overcome a lot of adversity last year and has just hung in there, and we're real proud of him, and we just hope him the best.
Second down and about 3. Curry looking, got a man open, and he was out of bounds. That'll be a good, no, that's a good call. I started to say if they even rule he had 1 foot in, he would have been.
Well, that's all he has to do is get 1 foot in, but I believe the 1 foot was out, but the other one came down on the line. Again, I'm just impressed with the touch on the pass in this ball, and I guess that comes from shooting the basketball. You develop that touch, but he's got such a nice touch when he throws that little pass out there in the flat.
You know, I've been trying to avoid this, but when we were talking about Iverson earlier, this kid reminds me a little of the way Allen played quarterback at Bethel. He has a similar height. He's a little bit bigger, but there you saw that both feet were clearly either on the line or out of bounds. But what impresses me is Ford is stacked up after a very short gain, which will bring up a 4th down. What impresses me is the poise that he shows on the field, and he has such fluid movement.
Right.
Well,
Allen really didn't start quarterbacking until his sophomore year. He was, you know, he did such a great job at safety for for the Bruins his freshman year. But you're right, there's some similarities there. But
he just has that natural athlete's move that Allen Iverson has, and it's a real broad comparison. I don't mean to make it sound anything more than that. But,
it's a compliment.
Oh yeah, very much so. 4th down and about 2, and the Crabbers hoping to get that neutral zone encroachment call. The Warriors stayed at home, and they were not to be drawn off. So now the Warriors force Hampton to take a timeout with 1:16 left here in the 3rd.
Well, Mike Smith will do that a lot, and but when he does it against Kurt Newsom, Kurt is prepared his team for it, and you can see the discipline on that defensive front for Kurt Newsom. They know that if they're going to go for it, they're going to come up the middle. Anyway, that's normally where you see them come, and you want to kind of get the jump on them, but didn't happen. Let me one more time before we get to the end of this game talk about the player of the game. We will give a plaque and a shirt to a member of either the Crabbers and the Warriors tonight. And this is going to be a hard job for Tim and I, but we want to thank DC Engraving and the Sports Place for giving us a plaque to show our appreciation, and of course a t-shirt.
Some of the obvious candidates: Chuck Payne for Kecoughtan with 2 touchdowns, Carlos Ford with a couple of touchdowns, Ron Curry, who's had an excellent game at quarterback, and we'll give you more of those possibilities as we go along here. Curry is not going to get away. In fact, he fumbles the football, but it's irrelevant because the ball will go over to the Warriors on downs.
Well, number 72, number 40 had a hold of him for the Warriors, and 72, that's Bernard Williams, and he's 255.
That other one is David Davenport, number 40, and the two of them, as you said, they did a good job. And give credit to the secondary for the Warriors because they had the receivers covered and didn't allow Curry anyone to throw to. So a good defensive stand there on a 4th and 2. As Kurt Newsom's young squad showed some maturity there. They stayed on the right side of the ball when the hard count was called, and then on a 4th and 2 came up with a big sack. And now Burton will start from their 40. He flares it out on the left side. This is Stanley Wilson, and Wilson struggles out to about the 45-yard line, a gain of about 5.
Took a little page out of the Crabber playbook.
That play has been successful all night long for Hampton, throwing to Ahmad Hawkins. And that time they went to Stanley Wilson for the Kecoughtan Warriors, as you mentioned. Pickup of 5, 2nd down and 5. We have less than 30 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. We are tied at 21.
We had some movement on the offense that time, it looked like, for the Kecoughtan Warriors. We had and you had picked that up earlier, that the guard was pulling that time, and it looked like he got just a half a second jump, and he was caught.
Dead ball, false start.
So that will take away the 5-yard gain on the previous play, and it'll bring up 2nd down and 10 now. Ball back at the 40. 13 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter, and the clock is restarted. Both teams each have 2 timeouts remaining. Burt over the middle, completes it to Gene Williams. Williams all the way down inside the 30 to about the 27-yard line.
And we're going to have a late flag.
Well, that's an interesting call, because I really didn't see any late contact. It didn't seem like he was moving. I mean, he dragged would-be tacklers, but let's see how they call this.
First pass. The dead ball, personal foul on the defense. We will not extend it down. We'll take the penalty, and then we'll have a change of period.
Well, that is the end of the 3rd period of play.
So the penalty will be tacked on after the game. They've marked the ball at the 27-yard line, so they will go half the distance to the goal line. And then we will switch ends of the field, and we'll have the fourth quarter. Here's the play. Let's see if we can. Great pass by Doug Burt to Williams. So we've talked about Ron Curry. Now watch this. This is just an excellent effort by Williams.
Administered the penalty. We have a dead ball. Dead ball.
Yeah, I guess that was piling up.
We've administered the penalty. Then we will change for the quarter.
It was a touch and go call there, but it was a good call. He did come in a little late, but you got to remember too, his momentum was carrying him. So tough call, but it will cost the Crabbers as they mark the ball all the way inside the 15 to about the 13-yard line, where it'll be 1st down for Kecoughtan as the 4th quarter gets underway. We'll return to Darling Stadium for the 4th period of action after this brief timeout. Well, the 4th period of action is just about set to get underway. The Warriors, in an effort now to regain the lead, they have never trailed this game. They led 7-0. They led 14-7. They led 21-14. And are looking to regain the lead after Hampton has come back each time to tie the score. 12 minutes remaining in what has been an excellent first game of the season for both of these squads. This is McNeil, and McNeil is wrapped up after a short gain. In on the stop for the Hampton Crabbers was number 81. That is Donnie Green, a 6'2" junior for Mike Smith's squad, and he stopped the runner at the 15. So that's a loss of about 2 on the play. 2nd down, and let's call it a dozen.
Well, there have not been many losses tonight if they didn't include the quarterback being caught, being sacked.
Burt pitches. This is Payne. Check that, Quillen rather, number 2, Quillen, and he is down inside the 10 to about the 7. Good looking play.
Tim, he's 6 foot 175. Again, he'll be growing. He's just a freshman, and of course he comes from a good football background.
They mark the ball at the Hampton 7-yard line. It brings up a crucial 3rd down and about 3.
That's a long 3.
Yep. Probably closer to 4, but a 3rd down nonetheless. This is Payne, and Payne struggles inside the 5, very close to the 1st down.
And if he marks that where he's standing, Tim, I believe he got it.
Center line.
They're going to take a look at it. They want to measure it. All right, Eagle Eye.
It isn't even close.
Measurement here is very close.
No, I say it isn't even close. It's close, but I think they've gotten it.
I believe they did too, Tim, by a football.
First down, Kecoughtan. First down, first and goal.
First and goal.
Close enough to measure. So the Warriors now with a first and goal at the Hampton 3-yard line. So in years past, you know, the Crabbers had that big, beefy defensive line that you had to go around it. You didn't go through it. But they're a little smaller this year, so we'll see how this goal line stand turns out here for the Crabbers.
Well, that's what Mike Smith said in that interview, that he's a lot smaller than he has been.
And McNeil does not get in on the first attempt as he tries to go around the left end and is stopped about a yard short of the end zone.
Darrell Sims making the tackle.
Sims in on the tackle for the Crabbers. That was Anthony McNeil on the carry. He is a senior.
You almost want to see, look for Chuck Payne straight ahead.
Well,
they got a full back out. They got 3 backs, 1 wide out.
And the runner this time is Quillen. And Quillen is in for the score. So 9:23 remaining in the 4th period. And the score by Jovan Quillen from a yard out. Makes the score 27-21 in favor of Kecoughtan. On to try the extra point again will be Trevor Gibbs. He is 3 for 3. This one is up, and it is good. So it kind of nicked the post there, I think.
Well, it doesn't make any difference as long as it gets in.
As long as it goes through, so.
You don't get extra points for being pretty, do you?
The score has just seesawed back and forth. Here's the replay. You'll see Quillen.
It was plugged up in the middle, and he just dove over the would-be tackler. That's what the defensive coaches will tell you. You want to make contact and drive through the player, and he went down low, and the guy just went right over top of him.
Good-looking play by Quillen, and I'm very impressed with this young man, as you've mentioned a couple of times, just a freshman. So the Warriors have regained the lead now. They led 7-0, 14-7, 21-14, and now finally 28-21. I say finally. Crabbers' turn.
There you go.
Hampton will have the wind behind them. And the ball gets by Hawkins. Hawkins picks it up at the 1-yard line. He's got that kind of speed. Oh, he almost broke one. He almost got away.
Well, sometimes that will happen because your defense gets, or your kicking coverage team gets too close down and you pop it through, you could go all the way.
He was 1 or 2 broken tackles away from going all the way. That was real close, because if he got by that surge, he's got great quickness. He would have never been touched.
Well, and some people might want to wonder why he didn't let it go into the end zone. Well, if it doesn't go in the end zone, it's a live ball. The Kecoughtan could get it, and they would be their possession.
You got to pick that ball up as long as it doesn't go in the end zone. So the Crabbers, 83 yards away from a tying score, or perhaps a go-ahead score. Curry, with a difficult throw, completes the pass for a first down out at the 32-yard line.
And we got a flag.
Probably going to have roughing the passer.
Yeah, I think so, Tim. It'll be tacked on to the end of that play.
Personal foul, roughing the passer on the defense.
That is the call. And I said that's the tough play for the quarterback. He's running to his left, and he's a right-hander, so he has to turn his body to square up. And again, that soft touch we've alluded to several times showed up again.
Oh, I tell you, this young man is better than the reports I heard.
So they're discussing all of the options. That was a dead ball situation, so I don't know what options need to be discussed. They would normally just tack on the penalty if it was after the play. A discussion ensuing nonetheless. I guess the...
All right, what we have here now, because the pass was already gone, we got a personal foul on the defense, not roughing the passer, a personal foul. We were tacking on. Get on going this way.
Okay.
Tell him over there.
So the pass had been thrown, so it really wasn't a dead ball foul.
Right.
The penalty occurred, or the infraction occurred while the play was going on. So this will be tacked on to the gain. And this will, this is not the first time that Hampton has benefited from a similar penalty.
Personal foul. After the pass was thrown, he's no longer a passer. Just a personal foul on the defense. First down.
What I started to say was, if you recall, that face mask call against Curry kept that drive alive, added 15 yards, and they ultimately scored to tie the game. And now this one gives them excellent field position at the 47, first down. I don't do it quite with the panache that Mr. Mr. McCullough had.
You don't do that.
First down.
Well, I tell you, we pick on Mick a lot, but that helps us with that mic because we could hear exactly what he went from roughing the passer to a personal foul, and it makes a big difference for us to be able to hear it, and of course our viewers too, and we appreciate the
absolutely
the help with the officials.
44-yard line, second down and a little more than a yard. Gain of 9 on the last play. They'll not mess around with this one. They'll just go with the running attack and get the first down. That is Joseph Williams, number 44, yet another running back. He's 6'2", 225, and he's an underclassman. He's just a junior. So another first down for Hampton, and they'll have the ball at the Kecoughtan 36-yard line with plenty of time remaining, 8 minutes and 10 seconds.
Well, I tell you, the Hampton coaching staff is doing a good job of running the runners in, and everybody's getting to carry the ball.
This is Carlos Ford, and Ford all the way down inside the 20-yard line. Close to the 18. It'll be another first down for Hampton.
Well, now Carlos Ford, Tim, 210.
Well, we got a penalty flag. Penalty flag.
Motion on the offense.
So that will wipe out the big gainer. The flag way on the far side of the field, out of our vision.
Well, I didn't even see that.
No, I just saw them conferring, and that led me to believe there might be something up. So the big gain by Carlos Ford of almost 15, 16 yards will be negated by that penalty.
Illegal motion on the offense. On the offense, repeat the down. Repeat the down. Number 1.
So it remains first down, but now it's 1st and 15 instead of 1st and 10 at the 18. They're still out at the 42. So that was a huge penalty against Hampton.
Boy, you got that right.
Curry on the option, keeps it himself. And he found the sideline. He'll be bumped out of bounds, but he'll have the first down. He's fun to watch, isn't he?
Well, all these people are fun to watch up here tonight. Both teams just exciting. From a spectator standpoint, you just got to love this game. This is one you want to put in your, make a tape of this and pull it out when you got the blues one day.
First down at the Kecoughtan 13-yard line. I'm beginning to think your prophecy of the last team to have the ball will win the game. It's been a seesaw battle. Flag down, a late flag. It would be first and goal if the penalty is not against Hampton. I don't believe it is.
The fullback, I believe, moved, or the tailback moved prior to the snap, but it was just a late flag coming in. I didn't see him throw it, so I just...
You know what happened?
Illegal motion on the offense.
Mick motioned to the sideline that he had trouble getting the flag out.
Oh, okay.
So the reason it was a late flag is he couldn't get it out of his pocket.
Well, I saw the young man I thought moved prior to the snap, but I'm thinking, well, the flag didn't come out, so I can't say that.
Illegal motion on the offense. Repeat the down.
So I think it was a good call. It looked like there was early motion in the backfield, so that will wipe out that big play again. So the Crabbers showing something they didn't do in the first half, and that's creating some problems with some penalties. But the drive is still very much alive. First down and 15. And the defensive surge by the Warriors, that play was too slow to develop.
Well, and they just took the almost like Hampton that time was trying to run against an 8-man line. They brought in those linebackers, and they just filled in the gaps, and there just was no place to go that time.
So to mark the ball between the 18 and the 17, it's second down. 6:45 remaining in the fourth period, and the clock is moving. Hampton looking to tie or go ahead. Don't forget, of course, the 2-point conversion is very much a factor in high school football. Of course, you got to get it in the end zone first. Curry, pass down to the goal line, touchdown!
Whoa, boy, did he stretch. Number 15, Mark Baycoat. And we've heard that name before. His brother played a main game of basketball.
Well, I brought it up before. I'll bring it up again. Do you go for 2?
Well, at this point, Tim, you go to the tie. You got plenty of time. You hope your defense can pull a stop, or maybe you get a turnover and you go down and control the ball to the end of the game and make a score.
Well, another reason for not going for 2 is overtime.
That's right.
There is overtime in high school football, so
I know Hampton feels if we could get the lead one time, we might be able to win this game. They just can't get the lead.
Here's the touchdown replay, the very end of it. It's Mark Baycoat, the younger brother of Damon Baycoat, I assume.
Yes.
With the touchdown.
Just spelled wrong here.
The quarterback, Curry, with the touchdown pass, 18 yards.
Well, you usually don't fill this sheet up, do you?
No, I really don't. I got to get me a new score sheet here. Pretty strong stuff. A lot of time remaining, 6:24 left. We're tied at 28 all. Hampton and Kecoughtan. What a great game for our inaugural game of 1994. It's been fun. This is a short kick taken by one of the up men and a fair catch called for. Not a bad decision. Your team gets good field position, and you don't have to worry about any fumbles.
Well, and Hampton says they're not going to do any run back either. We're not going to get it to one of those speedy deep men.
So Kurt Newsom's squad will start from their 28. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining. And 6 minutes and 24 seconds, plenty of time. Doug Burt feeling some pressure, and he will be sacked in the backfield.
Number 82 for the Crabbers, Tim, right in his face from the get. That's Eric Monroe.
And also Darrell Sims, number 53.
So you got 53 coming in there. That young man is 205, and Eric is 210. So.
And we've got a player down. Is that? Yeah, it is. Number 6, Chuck Payne, and he is down on the sideline, or rather the middle of the field, and being attended to. So.
Well, they're looking at his right knee, but he's bending it. He may just have a bruise, but because he's moving it pretty good.
You see Kurt Newsom on the left.
Man, I mean, that's a very important young man. You're going to have your coach is going to go out and find out what's happening.
There's Revis Conrad, who is one of the assistant coaches and the head basketball coach over at Kecoughtan. He is also checking him out. While he's being attended to, the Warriors and the Crabbers respectfully are huddling with their coaches to strategize for the last 6:12 of this game.
Well, he's reaching over and touching the outside of his right knee, Tim. So evidently he may have just a bruise because he is able to bend it. I see the trainer is bending it and pushing on it, and then he's kind of showing her where the pain is. So precautionary, he's going to stay down there until he feels his right, and that's what Coach Conrad is probably telling him.
And I'm happy to tell you that Payne gets up and will hopefully walk it off. So that's a sigh of relief for the Kecoughtan Warriors. Young man has played a real fine ball game on both sides of the ball tonight. Scored 2 touchdowns and has played real fine on defense. So the Warriors with a 2nd down and 15 from the 24-yard line. Burt, quick throw, far sideline, Wilson, and this gets about 2 or 3 yards at the most.
Hampton that time was right on top of Stanley Wilson after he caught the ball. He didn't have a whole lot of chance to move. And one thing that you'll find out a lot of times is when Hampton plays that particular play in their practice, their defense reacts to it. And then when Kecoughtan had played that thing, they react to it a little bit better than if you don't see it.
3rd down and long. Burt rifles it across the middle. Incomplete.
That was a great route run by David Davenport, but
just couldn't hold on to it. Doug Burt can really throw that tomato, and Davenport just couldn't hold on to it. So now the Warriors will have to give it up.
And they're punting into a pretty stiff breeze.
Mike Wallach. Not much of a rush by the Crabbers and not much of a kick by Kecoughtan. This one will take a Kecoughtan bounce, and then it did touch a Hampton player. That should be Warrior football.
Well, it depends if he was pushed into the ball.
That's what it looked like happened, but I'll be real curious to see how they call this one out. The initial response is the Warriors say they have the ball.
You cannot advance it.
We've got to go back.
Hit red.
Hit red.
White recovered.
White recovered.
White's ball at that spot. You cannot advance it. Cannot advance it. All right, back off. Touching by red. Recovery. First down. First down. First down.
I'd like to see the replay because I don't know if you can. If you push a man into it, and of course, at that point, you don't know. But that's a big break for the Warriors.
Huge break.
The Hampton player's foot, recovered by White. They cannot advance it, but it's their ball at that spot. 1st and 10, White.
You heard the explanation. Now, whether or not it was caused by the player being pushed into it is irrelevant at this point because it was not ruled to be anything that was done illegally. Chuck Payne is back in the backfield, we're glad to say. He picks up a couple of yards, but that's it.
Well, that was a great defensive stand. Watch this. Now watch with him. I saw the ball hit the young man, but I don't know if there's a rule about being pushed into it. See, he's being pushed into it.
Yeah, he clearly was. That was a very good explanation for that. He was pushed into the ball. And that would be an interesting, he clearly was. So if that is an infraction, that was a bad call. But it's all of no relevance right now. This is Quillen, and Quillen will get right to midfield before he stopped. He'll be shy of a first down by about 4 yards. And it'll bring up a 3rd down for the Warriors. I'd be curious if there is a rule, and maybe this gentleman
that's
to my
something we
left
might be able to ask the official there next to you if he knows.
Probably one of those things you don't have a rule that covers that type of thing, but you'd think there would be if a player is inadvertently caused to hit the ball by the other team. Burt, flag will go down. That'll be holding, and Burt will be smothered for a loss.
Right, what you do is you decline that penalty and make Kecoughtan punt the ball.
If in fact that's the way it is. Yep.
Holding on the offense.
So this game that is still tied with 3:39 to go, very much in question. Again, we remind you that there is overtime in high school football.
On the offense, declined, 4th down.
So now the Warriors will again be looking into the wind for the punting game. And the last time it was a very poor kick. This one's much better. He gets a good kick away. And this one will go out of bounds inside the 25-yard line.
I tell you, we see some strange things happening. I mean, from a spectator standpoint, it's been an awesome game.
Oh, it has.
Did you find anything about the...
There doesn't appear to be any rule that isolates anything but any contact by the kicking team, so the receiving team rather. So I don't know. There should be a rule.
Well, because if it's moving right, if I'm on the kicking team, I'm going to knock a player into it if I got a chance to recover the ball.
Absolutely. And now,
timeout.
Curry has to call a timeout. That is their second timeout of the second half, so they'll have just one remaining now. Comes with 2:58 remaining in the fourth quarter and/or regulation time, however you want to look at that. I got to get my old rule book out here too on overtime.
In overtime, you're going to have a flip. You're going to have a team either take the ball first or second. You got the ball at 10-yard line. You got 4 downs. And then the other team gets it. Oh, you got
holding on to this would come in handy. Something we saw overtime before.
Well, do the official thing on it then.
Now let's see if we can. All right, let's see now. This one is the rule that covers the incidents. Glad we have a timeout here. This works out well. Let me get my.
Oh, I can read that.
Okay, the shaded area.
Okay. In touching in the neutral zone by R is ignored if it is caused by K, who pushes or blocks R into contact. Just what I thought. It's exactly what happened.
Such touching of the ball in the neutral zone by R, who is the receiving team, is ignored if it is caused by K, who pushes or blocks R into contact with the ball. Clearly a case, thank you for bringing that out, that was not observed by the officials because he clearly was knocked into the ball. There had to be a rule to cover that because, as you said, otherwise every play that you had a kicking situation, you'd have that type of attempt. Travers unable to get much on that play, maybe a yard or two. Yep, that. Yeah, that was
good point by our director that with our vantage points up here, I could definitely see the young man being pushed in, and of course on the replay we could. Down on the field, you got a lot of people in front of you, and the coaches evidently were shielded from seeing the contact prior to the young man being in contact with the ball.
Well, I have to tell you, I'm glad that for the purposes of winning or losing this game, that it would appear now that that play will not have a bearing on the outcome of this game at this point. Indirectly, maybe, but not directly.
Right. Good point. Good point. Carlos Ford made a move there that
first down,
I would have lost not only my shoes, my jock, my pants, and I'd have had to go home naked.
That was a nice looking move.
Was that a good move?
Carlos comes up a little bit gimpy, favoring that right leg, but he won't come out unless they drag him out of there. That's a first down at the 37 for the Crabbers. Less than 2 minutes to go, minute 53, and the clock is moving, and they have just a single timeout remaining. Taking a lot of time to get this play called. That's where the inexperience and all the plays coming in from the sidelines hurts you a little bit. They get it off, however. And boy, the Warriors were waiting on that play. They had that one diagnosed perfectly. As filling the gap again was Bowen, number 56. Also in on the stop was Marlon Hicks, number 51, as they met the running back
timeout Hampton
almost simultaneously with the handoff.
Yeah, that was number 33, Derek White, another just a sophomore running back for the Crabbers.
Well, you know, we've got to pick a player of the game for each squad, but, you know, we don't have to do it until the game is over, right?
That's correct. We sure don't.
We maybe want to reserve this right, as you see.
Well, just some of the people we're thinking about, of course, for the Warriors, Chuck Payne, Doug Burt, Gene Williams. Young man caught so many balls and playing defense. The young man Bowen on defense. This young man has been all over. Ricky Rawls keeping things straight down there. One of the crew here for Larry Malloy. And then you look on the Hampton side, of course, you got Curry, Carlos Ford, Bailey, Rainey, just to name a few. There's so many people that you could just. This is going to be a tough one, too.
You didn't even mention Hawkins, who has probably caught a half a dozen catches, too. So it's a tough one. This is a definite challenge for us to come up. But let's see how this game plays out. We certainly can give some extra consideration to our players in the game. Curry has some time, now gets some pressure and gets away from one tackler, but not the second or the third.
The Warriors are putting a lot of pressure on young Mr. Curry that he wasn't getting the first half.
But, you know, think about it, though. That's a real short drop. He's not taking a full drop.
You just took the thought right out of my mind. He only took about 3 steps, right? Very short, quick drop.
He's looking to isolate somebody, a one-on-one that can get loose, one of his speedy receivers. And you pay that price by giving up that drop time.
Right. But one thing you got to like about Hampton is they're not panicking because they have a chance to go into overtime.
That one goes incomplete, stopping the clock with 45 seconds. And a 4th down and 8 now for the Crabbers, so they'll have to bring Steve Redford on to kick the ball.
Well, he's got the wind at his back. If he can get it up in the air, he should get pretty good carriage with this. That's number 2 for young Mr. Quillen. Back. Very exciting runner.
Each team has a definite threat on the return. Left-footed kicker, Redford gets a good kick away, and this one will take a Hampton bounce, and this will be a great field position for Hampton as they down it inside the 15 at about the 12-yard line. So 34 seconds. They have 2 timeouts remaining, but a long ways to go.
Tim, we have been doing football games since 1980. We have only had one overtime game, and that was in the playoffs when the Bethel Bruins was marching to the state championship up there in Richmond, I believe it was. So this will be a first for us. And you know, with the field position out of Kurt Newsom's not going to do, I wouldn't think. Now, I've been wrong many times, but you think he's going to be conservative because you got an equal chance of winning in overtime.
And the clock is running. They chose not to jump up to the line and try and get a playoff real quickly. They're going to, looks like they're just going to let the clock wind out and take their chances in overtime. Hampton cannot stop the clock. Kecoughtan will apparently do so with 8 seconds remaining. But certainly that play, if it's any indication,
Kecoughtan.
There's no extra effort on their part to, but maybe just throw one good Hail Mary here and take a shot at it. I don't know.
Well, and again, things can happen. He could be knocked for a loss. The ball could come loose. I mean, there's a lot of bad things that can happen with the ball down on your 16-yard line. But you've got the official overtime thing. So if we get a chance, we're going to let you read that thing so our people will know, because you have the official thing there, and we'll let the announcer here have it. I'll go let him know.
Yeah, when a Virginia high school league game is tied at the end of regulation time, an overtime procedure is used to break the tie. After a short rest period, the referee meets with the team captains for a coin toss to determine who will get the ball first in overtime. One team will get the ball to the opponent's 10-yard line. They have 4 plays in which to score. Any score will be added to their point total after this series of plays. The other team will get the football at its opponent's 10-yard line. This team will have 4 plays in which to score. Any score will be added to its score. The rotation will be called the first overtime. If the score is still tied after the overtime round, other rounds of overtime will be played until each team has more points than the other. The team with the most points is declared the winner, as you might have expected.
You got it.
That's what we're going to see. We're going to basically, it reminds me of a shootout in soccer.
3-minute intermission for the overtime procedure.
Well, we got 3 minutes there before the thing, so.
So we're here until someone scores and wins. Now, it's not sudden death.
No, not sudden death.
Each team gets an equal opportunity to score, and if Hampton gets 4 plays and they are able to score and Kecoughtan doesn't, then they win, and vice versa.
Well, and if you remember the strategy that most of the coaches like to use is like to be on defense first, That way, if you stop the other team from scoring, then you know you can kick a field goal if you got a good field goal kicker anytime you want to. You can kick it on any down, and if you mess up on the handoff, you can still do it again.
So, I think we saw that, although I don't think we actually resorted to a field goal, but the Warriors, rather the Bruins in that game with Allen Iverson, ironically, did in fact go into the end zone, if I remember correctly.
That's correct.
But they could have just kicked a field goal.
That's correct.
But it certainly adds.
At one point, if they kick the field goal, I mean, if they score a touchdown, they will not kick the extra point if the other team, it's the second team scoring and they don't need to.
So we have a 3-minute intermission, probably about 2 minutes remaining of that. And we're tied at 28 all, and you know, I hate to use this cliche, but it's really a shame to see either team lose this game. And it's going to come down to, you were perfectly on target. Last team to score is going to win the game. It would seem.
Well, I'll tell you, it's both teams have shown just some outstanding athletes. Both teams are well coached, as we've always seen this from both of these squads. The Hampton coaching staff has probably been together longer than anyone else on the peninsula, and they really show some cohesiveness there. Kurt Newsom's staff has been with him for a long time, so you know, you look out there, you see not only some fine athletes, these kids have been well coached.
Again, we want to just give you one last reminder about our desire to recruit some businesses in Hampton and Newport News to sponsor football, basketball, softball, baseball, or soccer games so that we can bring even more events to our viewers. There will be at least 2 tape delay broadcasts of each event. So this game, for example, looking at the schedule, will air 3 different times. And if your business is a sponsor, you can sponsor the pregame show, you can sponsor a quarter, or you can sponsor an entire game at very, very inexpensive rates. It's simply,
we're talking dirt cheap here.
We're talking cheap bucks here. We're talking less than $100 and so forth. So
well, and wouldn't it be nice if we do a little pregame and we can say it's brought to you by, well, you know, if nobody else, we can always bring to it with the young men that bring us the player of the game until somebody buys that position.
But there will be additional games pending if we have the interest and support. So we've got 6 games on tap for you, and we'd like to bring those games to you as a sponsor by one of the businesses or businesses. You can be recognized on the air as being a sponsor and underwriting these events. There is no production charge for a commercial process because we will actually not be doing commercials. We will just simply be mentioning the name of your business several times during the game. For example, if you sponsored a whole game, your sponsorship will be mentioned 6 times. Once at the beginning, 1 at each quarter, and at the end of the game. And if you consider you'd see that game 3 different times, you're talking about 18 different spots for a very minimal amount of dollars. Trust me. If you'd like more information, please call Scotty Bowers at Channel 5, regular business hours 8 to 5 at 850-5366. We really encourage you to come forward and call Scotty, and we'll arrange for further information.
Right. Well, we have Doug Burton, number 7 for the Warriors, and it looks like number 71, Aaron Melton, big tackle, 6'5", 250. They will be out there to determine toss of the coin and who will get the ball first.
We'll listen in.
All right.
Having a little difficulty hearing Nick.
You call what? The tail. It's a head. Hampton, your choice. You want to go on defense, okay? All right, now, which end of the field do you want?
Which end of the field do you want to play on?
Okay, so go ahead. You stand right over here. Captain of Hampton has won the toss. We'll go on defense. Kecoughtan will be going this direction. Hampton will defend that goal, south goal.
All right, well, the strategy that you had discussed is exactly the point taken by Mike Smith. They won the toss and have elected to be on defense. And your point, again, just to repeat
4 consecutive series.
We're going to hear from Nick.
He'll tell us. First by Kecoughtan, second by Hampton.
All right, I'll extend it a little further, but as I said, the defense, by taking the defense first, if the other team scores, you still have a chance to score. If the other team doesn't
line to
score
gain is
in 4
always
downs,
the goal line.
then you can just kick a field goal and go home.
That's
the game
right.
is over.
Whoever scores after the two, whoever's got the most points after the two teams have equal chance to get it. Now, if there's a turnover, that's it. I mean, the other team, you don't give them the ball back. I mean, you get 4 downs if there's a turnover or a fumble or intercepted or whatever, then, I mean, it's just like regulation.
And consequently, if you have a 10-yard loss on a play, you're 10 yards further away. So it's just like having 4 downs from the 10-yard line to get in. Burt will find some running room down to the 5, so it'll be 2nd down.
I'm not sure if that was a design play. I almost have to think that Doug was going to pass the ball and then decided to run it, but he found a nice crease in there because he picked up 5.
Again, I hope the announcer had an opportunity to explain to the fans. Did we give him that?
Oh, he said he didn't need it. He knew what it was, but I never heard it, so I don't know whether he did it. I wasn't paying attention either, so.
2nd down and goal. The pitch goes to Quillen, and Quillen can't hold on to the football. Who's got it? They say Hampton has the football, so now they will have 4 downs to score, and if they do, they'll win the game.
And that's just a situation where I believe young Mr. Quillen did not look the ball in his hand. I couldn't tell if it was a good pitch or not.
Now they're going to. Okay, they're not going to change ends of the field. I was wondering for a moment what was going on there. So they'll have Hampton going with the wind, which they would want that anyway. So they have 4 downs, and they can kick a field goal at any point in time. The game's over. But of course, if they kick the field goal and miss it, we're back to square one.
That's right.
And that play is going to be a little better than it appeared to be for a minute. It looked like it was going to go nowhere.
As smooth as these offenses were running the first 4 quarters, Tim. I mean, no mix-ups in the backfield, no fumbles, and you get in overtime and you have a fumble on one play, and well, the 2 plays that the Warriors ran were not as smooth as we have seen.
You know, there's some butterflies because it's one thing to be in a big game, but this is do or die. You know, you win or lose the game, so you know the butterflies are fluttering around.
Got to be there.
I don't care whether you're a freshman or a senior. Travers, 2nd down and goal. Curry, make it reverse. And he is in. Score, Hampton wins.
What a game, I tell you, Tim. Well, I tell you, I don't know.
A heartbreaking loss for Kecoughtan. They did everything but win. Hampton never led until just now when they win the game 34-28. There you see Mike Smith and Kurt Newsom, 2 good friends, congratulating each other. It was a shame that one of the 2 teams had to give up the loss. But,
okay, we got to come up with the player of the game.
Well, I got Mr. Curry for my pick for Hampton, and certainly he was one of several, but he was an outstanding team captain and leader, and I think Doug Burt, at a comparable role on the other side, should get it as you do, so that works out real well.
I think that goes good with me, Tim. It's really, there's so many people we could have given it to on both sides, but I'm with you. I thought that the 2 quarterbacks did a great job. Opening day, very few mistakes from the quarterback standpoint. Both of them did an outstanding job passing the ball, handing the ball, running the ball. I don't think we go wrong with those 2 young men getting the player of the game. Look at the sportsmanship out there.
That's another nice point, too. Our director certainly appropriately wanted us to mention the sportsmanship that you see on the field in spite of the intense rivalry. And believe me, those Hampton players are jubilant in victory, and the Warriors, here's you see the replay. Curry fakes out Chuck Payne, of all people, to get to the outside, and Curry, who just did an outstanding job all game long, vaults over for the winning touchdown in overtime. It could not have been any closer as the Hampton Crabbers battled from behind all game long to win the game on an overtime play, 34-28. Our players of the game?
Before you give that, I just want to serve notice to the rest of the peninsula. There are two tremendous teams that somebody's going to have to play sometimes during this game, this season. I wouldn't look forward to playing either one of these two teams.
And Phoebus will have the unenviable task of taking on Kecoughtan next Friday night, the 9th of September. We'll be here for that game. Hope you are too, here at Darling Stadium. The final score again, the Hampton Crabbers in overtime, 34-28 over the Kecoughtan Warriors. For Bob Hintz and the entire crew, this is Tim Cole. Thanks for watching. Good night, everybody.